Mixed Games, back from an extended break here. My name is Ben Brinkema. Johnny Peters joining me in the booth. Today we have the final table event number 1. It's a 5K buy-in H.O.R.S.E. Raise your hand if you know all the games. Well, I certainly do. And if I only ever bubbled one big WSOP event, it was indeed a mixed game event, so I'll be happy to keep you in the know about everything that's going on at this final table, which is led by former WSOP main event finalist Jerry Wong, who has made quite a name for himself as well on the mixed game belt. So we're going to have some fun with this. It's going to be quite an interesting final table. We're playing H.O.R.S.E. That means that those games are all of the limit variety. We'll dive into all the game specifics as the day goes on. Welcome everyone tuned in right now on our YouTube channel and on PokerGO. PGT Mixed Games is an 8-event series. We'll have tons of live streams for you coming up in the next few days. And the stakes will go up. And we will also have a variety of games coming up, including tomorrow, a 10K 8-game final table for those that need a bit of all-in action. 5K buy-in tomorrow to get things going. But 8-game, of course, including No Limit Hold'em and Deuce to 7 No Limit single draw. And then we'll crank up the buy-ins. We'll do more H.O.R.S.E. We'll do more 8-game. We'll ultimately have Dealer's Choice. And the championship event, event number 7, is going to be a 10-game mix, which will also include Badoogie. So lots of exciting games to cover here. You can see the limits at the top of your screen. 150K, 300K with a 50K ante. The name of the game in the bottom right-hand corner, Stud Hilo 8 or better, is the first game. And because our audience will be largely new to these games, please know that we'll keep this rather simple to give everyone a chance to learn a thing or two about these wonderful games that I and Donnie also really love to play. Of course, we all know that the book Super System was sort of the inspiration for many players to get involved with the mixed games. It might be hard to find a local game in your casino, but if you ever do organize something yourself, please consider playing a variety of games because it keeps things interesting and it might inspire you to try and take a stab at some of the events that we offer here at the studio. We had a $750 satellite for this event yesterday, which had an amazing turnout. And speaking of turnouts, Donnie, welcome to the show. And,
hello.
We're off to a good start.
Heck yeah, that satellite that you mentioned, second largest satellite we've ever done on the PGT. Hello. Booming. This field, of course, record setting. I've heard and I saw, being late and walking in here, alternates in the second event is happening, so
amazing.
We need a bigger studio. Like, can somebody get Maury, El Jefe on the phone, something? We need a bigger studio.
Trays are new. Air 5s are high.
First hand here between Wong and Benjamin Miner. First percentage you see next to Wong's name is the high hand. The second percentage is the low hand. In order to make a low hand, you have to have 5 cards, 8 or lower, which Wong is not able to do. As you can see, Miner still with chances going both ways. Wong right now with 2 pairs, 6s and 5s, well out in front for the high. But since he has no way of making a low, this could cost him 2 bets and he could get scooped, which of course a massive part of playing the high-low game. Donnie, we've seen players both at our own tables as well as on live streams overvalue those hands that play only one side of the pot, and that can really get you into trouble.
Yeah, once you get involved in these games, not only stud high-low, I would say Omaha high-low too, really any high-low split game, you can definitely get yourself into some tricky situations if you are going just one way. Now, there are also times when going one way can benefit you if you're in a multi-way pod and, you can sense that your opponents might be going both towards the low, then you want to go towards the high, stuff like that. But on the surface, most hands are played heads up. You often want to be able to be drawing to what we like to call scoopers. You want to scoop the whole thing, the high and the low.
Absolutely. Shout out to Smoke427 in the chat on PokerGo. Says, let's see some Razz magic today. Razz, a game that has both lovers and haters. And I feel as though, as part of the horse mix, definitely a nice way to switch things up. One of our guest chatters, please know on PokerGo you can change your nickname, but he says, let's eat in all caps. I just had a lovely breakfast burrito. Thank you for asking. Jedi Mind says, mixed games for the win. Shelby25 says, let's go Chambers. And Marianne says, next year, satellite, it's a must for me. Donnie, we should expand our satellite offerings. Why not run a morning satellite for the event that starts later that day? I think that could even get some traction. Turbo.
Yeah, I was even thinking, like, for example, last night, you know, obviously the studio's packed during the day, okay? But as tables start to break, maybe run, like, I don't know, a 7 p.m. satellite, an 8 p.m. satellite for the next day. Right? And you could even get players that they might play it anyway, but hey, maybe they'll try and free roll. Maybe they'll try and, you know, like win their buy-in back if they played in this tournament or something like that. You know, that's how they can reconcile it in their head. So I think those things would be certainly beneficial, especially because we've seen such big numbers for these satellites this year.
Milgrom here trying to make his way into a straight flush, pairing his 10 on the turn. Chambers is going to come along and make the call. 3 on 6th Street is going to give Chambers a lock on the low here as Milgrom picks up a 6. So Chambers cannot lose half this pot. He, of course, does not know that his low is unbeatable because his low is not that good. But we can see here that he cannot lose that half of the pot. Now, Milgrom, a heavy favorite to win the high, but he knows that he can make a low. So quite a bit of dynamics going on here as Milgrom comes out and makes the call. We go to 7th Street.
And there's really no sense in Milgrom raising here. Probably just going to call down because he could be getting completely scooped. And Chambers, you know, if you're wondering, you know, why is he only betting if he only has a low and he's obviously behind? Well, he's got a lot of equity to ultimately get that scoop. He knows that his opponent can't draw to the low, so he's got half this pot locked up. And even here, I mean, even here it's just a free roll to bet because there's a chance your opponent just folds the hand.
Exactly. And Chambers' low improves the card on the bottom row in the far right corner. That is the last card they picked up. That is 7th Street. So Chambers, with that ace, does improve his low. He now working on a 7-6-5-3 ace. Start counting from the highest card and then go down from there. Milgrom, with a pair of 10s, has a difficult decision to make here. Question he has to ask himself, are my 10s good enough for half? And he makes the call. Well done by Chambers.
2 10s.
2 10s for the high here. Milgrom and Chambers will split this up. But it's one of those spots where, you know, Chambers could have a scooper, could have some 2-pair combo, or even 3 6s for him to take the whole thing.
All right, game change. First thing out of limit hold'em.
A good point from Yancey in the chat. Of course, Chambers knows that his low is unbeatable. He's got the board lock. Yes, thanks for pointing that out. It's been a while since we've done these mixed game streams, but of course you can see that Milgrom is not able to make a better low. Big Johnny says, this game befuddles me. Well, you won't be the only one, so please send in your questions. I just even made a big mistake, and we are only just getting started. It is important to read and observe and remember the cards that are shown, the up cards as they are called. These players, of course, all have very sharp brains and keep track of which outs are still available to them. So it's not only about the cards that you get dealt, it's also about the cards your opponents either receive and or fold. And we switch over to Limit Hold'em. So hey, everyone here gets a chance to be the chat pro because we all know how to play this game. I think many of us learned how to play this at the kitchen table. Probably the best introduction to poker. Action folds around to Chen. He's going to raise it up with Jack 4 off. And do we have a dead small blind? Is that?
We might, yeah.
Yeah, I think we might. Players played down to the final 5 late last night, seeing Jack 5 deuce on the board here. Excuse me, 9 5 deuce. Jack 4 for Chen. He bets 150. Minor with Ace-5 pairing his 5 also has backdoor spades going for him. This comes with the raise right away.
I think the graphic might just not be there. But
Oh, okay.
He might be small blind, yeah.
Maybe a graphical interruption, but this hand goes to Miner. Miner, by the way, just shy of $1 million in career tournament earnings, could eclipse that mark with a 70 plus, excuse me, with a 40K plus score today. Has one WSOP bracelet in the online 5K short deck to get rather specific here. Also has multiple other final tables. Plays professionally, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. Very steady resume from Miner. If you have just shy of $1 million in earnings with only one cash over 100K, you know that that person is putting in the hours, putting in the grind. Wong raising it up with 4s. Chambers in the big blind is going to make the call. Always a good price from the big blind, so it seems. Easy Go Bro in the chat says, mixed games, let's go. Yes, we have tons of mixed games coming up. 7 final tables here in the mixed game series, and then 3 days of live streaming of one of the most insane tournaments we've ever put on. It's the 100K Super High Roller Bowl mixed game. And if you go to the, I want to say the PGT Twitter account, maybe it's the PokerGO account, but
yeah, PokerGO Tour Twitter account.
PokerGO Tour Twitter account. We've already teased the first 16 names that have confirmed participation in the 100K. And let me just say this, Donnie, please tell me if I'm crazy here, but I believe that many players this week will use the mixed game series as a type of satellite into that event.
Yeah, I think so. You know, if you do really well at this series, you know, maybe you got a hot hand, you sell some additional action, you get into that 100K. You know, maybe you just win enough money, you get into that 100K. Of course, there is a satellite. I believe it's a 10K buy-in satellite for that event coming up as well. So there are plenty of avenues to getting in there. You got Brian Rast, Johnny Becker, Matt Ashton, Philip Sternheimer, Yuri Zevalevsky, a.k.a. Yuri Nerd Guy, John Racner, Scott Seaver, Dan Zach, Talal Shakurchi, Benny Glauser, Max Coleman, Albert Daher, Jason Mercier's coming,
Wow.
Chad Eve Sledge, Daniel Negreanu, and Ray D, Ray Decargani. Those are the 16 names that have said they are confirmed.
I've heard of those.
Yeah, I mean, that's a who's who. I mean, you know, you and I have talked about it before on streams. Like, we don't kind of have no idea what to expect for this event turnout-wise, but seeing 16 people confirmed now seems incredible.
Absolutely, totally agree. And I think a player like a Jerry Wong, given his resume and acumen in all these games, could see a series like this as a little bit of a satellite. Perhaps, you know, you bank one, you win perhaps this event, and then parlay that into a larger result, or maybe, you know, sell some action, whatnot. I don't think it's impossible to think that Jerry Wong will be in the 100K. A few more names that I would not be surprised to see in the 100K, as we see another limit hold'em hand and ace-3 deuce on the flop. I want to point out here that there was 130 entries in this event. We are now looking at the final 5, but there were quite a few big names that finished in the money. Steve Zoltau just missed out on the final table, finishing in 6th place, right ahead of Josh Aryeh, Jeff Mattson, Marco Johnson, Mike Gorodinsky, Benny Glauser, Jim Colby, Mark Gregorich, Andrew Kelsall, Ari Engel, and a man that I have memories of long nights at the WSOP, David Funkhauser, in 19th place. So 19 places got paid. Those first few players basically doubled their buy-in. But yeah, just as I rattle off these names, it gives me strong feelings of hot summer nights during the WSOP. These are all the regulars you see in events such as the 10K Championships, as well as the 50K. So everyone's here, everyone's battling. It's definitely an honor and a privilege to call the action, and we're stoked you guys are all tuned in. We're doing all 7 streams here, both on PokerGO and on YouTube. We'll try to interact as much as we can with you guys in the chat, and I think the limit format really lends itself towards answering some questions here as Miner gives up on the king high and Milgrom chips up. Nicholas Milgrom from Paris, France, living in Las Vegas, has quite a few wins under his belt, most notably World Poker Tour Championship Limit 08 tournament win back in 2024 for 55K. Also has an LAPC win in an Omaha 8 or better event, and a Win Classic 8-game mixed win. So Milgrom definitely a specialist. His regular games, according to his bio, include some of the higher stakes mixed games at H.O.R.S.E Casino. And his best game is Omaha 8 or better, which is also part of the mix today.
I wouldn't be entirely shocked if we see Walter Chambers spin up some money and play that 100K. He played the 25Ks here before. You know, he's played all the mixed game stuff, so, you know, kind of like in that line of what you said. If he has a really good series, he obviously starts it off here with the final table, then maybe Walter Chambers is somebody that it would be worth getting familiarized with, and we might see him down the road.
Yeah, it's always a good sign when you...
Can't stop thinking about it.
if you pull up his hand and mob page,
All right, what are you gonna do for your hands?
I just keep
see him
staring.
holding
I
up
know.
the trophy
Talk to me, baby. What's going
from the
on
No
over
Limit
there?
single draw event
So you messed
that
up.
he
You
won
should have put it the other way.
in
So
March
now
of
you can't
last
see
year.
when- See where you can see when it's kind of
Yeah, I
ringing you.
keep seeing notifications.
Yeah.
Man, we're
Chambers
third generation.
goes way back in the game of poker, winning a
ADD.
WSB Circuit Championship in New Orleans in 2005
Wow.
for 787, also at that final table.
787?
Yes!
What?
Antonio Esfandiari finishing third in that event.
Those were the
Those
days.
were, like, I know we probably use that too much, but those were definitely the days. We got a hand here, by the way, still playing Limit Hold'em. Chambers raising it up. Wong with the 3-bet from the small blind. Now, small blind play in Limit Hold'em, very tricky.
Yeah, of course. But I think here, you know, he's got two high cards, a hand he can just drive some action with. Limit Hold'em as well. It's, I don't know, I would kind of equate it to heads up in no Limit Hold'em, where just that hand values, you know, you got to just be willing to take some more marginal hands to showdown. Chambers gets a good flop here. You know, it's pretty simple to play, straightforward. He can just call here, and bingo.
Wow, look at this disaster card for Wong as Chambers makes the 6-high straight. Wong hits a wheel, and there must be some part of Wong's thinking that if Chambers raises, that he could also be on an ace.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Chambers would have a ton of sixes in his range. Maybe some ace-6 suited, maybe obviously sixes like he has, yes, but, you know, I don't think he's going to be in there with, like, the 6-7s of the world, stuff like that. I just don't think that those play as well in Limit Hold'em, especially attacking into one of the blinds being a big chip leader in Wong.
So Wong is just going to make the call. River card incoming. The 9 of diamonds, total blank on this board. Wong checking the Chambers here. As you can see, Chambers doesn't have a whole lot of chips left, but he's plenty for a few bets. And Wong just with the check call, no additional risk here. And Chambers is going to show down the 6s and win a pot worth $3.1 million. Very nice chip up here from Chambers. Wong maintains his chip lead, but that's a sizable one.
Yeah, that's a big chunk. I mean, you don't think that the limit games play big, but they always seem to play incredibly big. And that pot right there, you know, we see it knocks Wong below 7 million, and Chambers is up pushing to 4 million. I mean, it's just, the chips fly in the limit games. They for sure do.
Play 7 hands all the way through.
So Wong down 2.8 million here, and we're only 7 hands in. Chambers, the big winner so far, up 2.3 million. By the way, if you're tuning in on YouTube, please smash that like button. We don't get to do mixed games all that often. I know this is new to many of you. Please show us some love. We love to put these on, but it definitely helps to get a good audience for these games.
If you want mixed games to continue,
yes,
you need to show the engagement. Because if our bosses don't see the engagement, they're just going to say, well, the heck with this.
Yeah,
We can only fight so hard, guys. We need help from the people.
Get your mom and your grandma to tune in.
Wong here attacking on the button, Queen 9 suited. Miner's going to defend here from the big blind.
That's it. Okay.
This could spark some action here. Both players flopping a pair. Wong, of course, top pair. Good kicker.
Mac in the chat says, who has 2 thumbs and love mixed games? This guy. Thanks, Mac. Counting on you to always be here over the next couple of streams. And it's great to have you all joining us. 3 of hearts on the turn. Wong looking really good. And I guess with this kind of board development, we're just going to keep going for value. Oh, look at this. Minor leading on the turn.
Raise.
And the snap raise from Wong. So earlier, the hand prior, we saw a cautious play from Wong after making his straight. Now with top pair, you know, arguably far worse holding. Could be in trouble versus a variety of hands. Goes for the snap raise.
Yeah, I think just targeting a lot of 8s here, that Minor can play this way. Second flush draw coming out on board, you know, Minor probably wants to deny some check back, some free equity there, so he can just lead here. Maybe even, you know, start charging hands like, you know, 5, 6s, stuff like that in there. Obviously, we know that Wong has a 9, and he's just going after it. Minor looks like he's contemplating if he should just fold right here. And he does. Look at that. Well done.
Bet fold from Minor. Similar result to paying 1 bet on 2 streets. Do you think there's some merit to that approach?
Yeah, I mean, if he figures, okay, if I just check call down, that's 2 big bets. If I bet here and get called, it probably feels more comfortable that I'm in the lead.
I was just the big one.
Yeah,
I was spotted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Buttons. Almost gotcha.
Okay.
Slothy asked if you can big bet on every street. No, and it depends on the game when the big bets come in. So here you'll be doing the 150K bets on her pre-flop and flop, and then big bet comes in turn and river. And then limits. I know we have limits up on the top of the screen, 150K, 300K. Note that in a blind game like Hold'em, the blinds will be 75, 150. So as an example, here you see Wong come in with a raise. He makes it 300K, which is on top of that 150 big blind. So still at that 150 level here on pre-flop and turn.
10 seconds.
Jedi Mind says, how do you expect us to get in that lineup? This would be a great teams event. I'm not sure if you're talking about the 100K or something else, but either way, teams events, not something we've done before. But I will say, a sort of a nostalgic event that I really enjoyed watching was the Doubles Poker Championship.
Yeah. Should be some format of a teams event that comes back. Maybe here in the studio, maybe somewhere else. But I mean, there's obviously the tag team at the WSOP, but
yeah, but the
just a bit
Doubles Poker
smaller
Championships, they were at the table together.
Yeah.
They would
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
like, in case you have never watched this, I think it's on PokerGo, actually. One player decides pre-flop, then the other player from the team decides on the flop, and then goes back and forth. Just insane format.
That would be wild. You'd be like, what did you do pre-flop?
Yeah,
What, huh?
like, imagine-
Why am I in this spot?
Imagine you playing with Tim Duckworth. You would raise, and on the flop, he would check fold. Every time. Every time.
Switching it up here now, playing Omaha high-low 8 or better. Also a flop game, just like Hold'em. And then obviously, you know, plays like Omaha, but does have that high-low aspect.
Raise.
Raise.
Chen is in there.
Heads up.
This is just like your standard Omaha where you have to use 2 cards from your hand. So in a situation like this, Milgrom knows he's entering this pot, unable to make a low because he does not have 2 cards in his hand, 8 or lower, and he just whiffs here. Probably going to connect a fair bit with the range of Chen, so just a check fold on the 5-3-3. Chen takes it. Chen, a satellite winner. He was one of the 10 players to win into this event via satellite, so if you don't think that it can happen, it can happen. You can win a satellite and get to a final table.
Huabao Chen, 320K in earnings. From Flushing, New York. I believe that is Queens. Has a variety of deep runs and no limit events, but also a mixed game event win. It was a $500 buy-in, but more importantly, he beat Alan Kessler. Borgata Winter Open.
Race.
I saw Kessler receive his bread.
Oh, yeah.
All is well. Was that just an angle to get the nice bread from Carbone? Because that bread's fantastic.
I mean, I'm not going to say that Alan Kessler's thinking on that sort of level with his complaints. I think it's more just on the surface, complaining to complain.
Check.
But hey,
Yeah.
he benefited from it, that's for sure. Pair of sevens here for Chen with an ace-3 low. He also has the ace of clubs in his hand to block some nut flush draws. He continues and gets called. Both players make the nut low
Bet.
with the deuce sliding in there. Note that in split pot game, they keep the bets in front of them when heads up. Just makes it easier when this gets chopped so often. Chen does lead here. Or sorry, Wong leads and Chen calls. My fault.
Bet call.
Ace 3.
Bet and a call.
Sick.
So here, they're going to chop up the low, both playing that ace-3. And then Chen has
Yeah,
a
7.
7 for the high. So he gets the whole high in this game. Call that quartering your opponent or getting quartered in the case of Wong.
Little reminder here for those looking to play some no limit hold'em while they watch this mixed game final table. You can play for free at playpokergo.com. Available on web, iOS, and Android. Scan the QR code on your screen right now and start playing. And I will guarantee you right now,
Yes.
Donnie and I will be in the mix later today, every single day during this mixed game series. We'll fire up some free-to-play sit-and-goes or cash or whatever it may be. It's just a fun game. Donnie, I got my father-in-law on it.
Oh,
He loved it. Got some chips going.
there you go.
You know, this is what I said too. You know what he liked about it? It's fast.
Yeah, you're not waiting around.
Raise.
You'll notice often players in this game pass on hands that don't contain an ace. For example, that hand that Chambers had, I think it was King Jack 6-3 double suited. You might look at that and say, okay, I got the King Jack suited for the high, I got the 6-3 that could play the low, but probably just going to be in a lot of tricky spots here. So,
All right, limits are up.
Where are you guys?
oh look, Chino makes it back.
All right, 1-2 blinds playing 2-4.
Looks like he came to see his boy Jerry Wong. I believe the blinds are up now. Well, limits are up. 200K, 400K, so 100, 200 on the
2
blinds.
to call playing 2-4.
These purple chips are 25K. The yellows are 100K.
Raise.
All hearts here for minor in the big blinds. Now, take note of the ace-4,
Call.
important part of that hand.
That's it.
Without the low card in his hand, this hand would be basically unplayable. But right now, there's still some options here. And Queen 6-3 does give him top pair, top kicker. Of course, no suit connectivity, but along with the ace-4 in the heads-up situation,
So that
might
hand
just be
has
enough.
to leave, right?
Yeah, we had the
Get
same
involved
roll and
with.
you had a better high. You had A7.
It's
Yeah, and I think Milgrom would, you know,
My high.
would have loved to
So
just
we
have
can
won it
shove
right
three
there.
quarter.
You know, he's
You get
obviously doesn't have a
3/4.
low draw.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I gave you half
Yeah,
of my bet.
yeah, that's
That
what
low does slide in for
It seemed
Minor.
like I took all the part, but it wasn't.
No, I took
Not
back
that he
half of it.
necessarily
There's
knows
nothing in
it,
the middle,
because
so
there are some better lows out there,
So
but
we split the
does
low.
have the
yeah,
low
and then
locked
we
up here.
Record in middle, it's just a small blind.
King comes in on the end. That makes it a
Where are you from?
chop pot. Minor did have 2 pair also on the turn.
I mean, you're wearing Yankees hat and you made like. The
beauty of chops is that
I was living in New York. Right?
you can still win the whole one if you get
I
the
agree.
opponent to fold.
Oh, okay.
And Minor here, I guess, going to represent the diamonds.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably very confident that he's got at least the low locked up here with Milgrom not
from
betting the
James.
turn. So he just comes out here with the bet. It looks very strong also given his stack size. I mean, this is a hefty bet. So Milgrom has no diamonds in his hand that could block your opponent having flushes. There's a possible straight that's out there. I mean, this is a tricky spot for him.
Time extension.
Miners look, I mean, at least from what we've seen and maybe perceived, it looks like he's been pretty conservative. So, again, might lead to Milgrom folding as he did there. That's a good pickup.
That's a massive pickup. It might not look like much, but these are the kind of hands that sort of keep your stack healthy. And Minor correctly picking up on the fact that his low probably good, and then a bet is sort of a free roll. Chat is extremely active, which is great to see. Jimmy Bluffett now joining us. Cool Drummer in the house. Nightbot representing as always. Tortuga says, Omaha makes my head hurt. Omaha is definitely a tough one on the mind, especially as you get tired. Especially the high-low variety because of the combinations that are possible. But let me tell you, hand selection makes that a bit easier. Don't get too funky. Don't get too out of line. That'll save yourself some headaches. As Wong with a beautiful pair of aces along with the suit. Does have some low potential as well.
Time extension.
Folding your big blinds. Never fun in limit formats, but sometimes you just have to.
Yeah, if you're new to playing Omaha high-low, as Remco mentioned, I would really just stick to starting hand selection. Now, if you're playing an event like this here at PGT Mixed Games at the studio, I mean, you might need to open things up a little bit, get a little bit creative with how you play. But, you know, let's say you go out to the World Series and you play the $1,500 Omaha high-low tournament. That gets right around 1,000 players, if not more, every single year. It's one of the biggest fields every single summer. You know, there, a lot of the times you can just stick to very solid foundational starting hands. Play kind of ABC poker because everyone's just kind of in there playing bad, bad starting hands, right? So you can really do pretty well for yourself, you know, when you're playing against more of a population like that than, you know, kind of more of the elite competition that you see here in the studio where it might involve some different skill, stealing, you know, getting creative, as I mentioned, that sort of stuff. So Minor with the raise on the button. Milgrom defends.
King, Queen, 9. No Jack 10s to speak of, but also this high board eliminating the potential of any player making it low. So the value of high cards shifting dramatically. Both players here with Ace Jack. Let's see if they can outmaneuver each other here. Action goes bet call. Ace of diamonds on the turn. By the way, we're playing 200K, 400K, so limits have gone up.
Backdoor diamonds coming in for both players. That's bad news, though, for Milgrom, because his are extremely low here.
Okay.
Action does go check, check. River is the 4 of clubs, and Milgrom pairing his 4. What a brutal card for Minor. Now, how often do you think Ace Jack is good here is the other question you might be asking yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard. I would think, you know, I think your opponent just kind of got there with some sort of 2-pair.
10 seconds.
Miner's, you know, been right so far early on in this final table with some spots. So another tough test here for him.
Seconds.
As you can see, the shot clock, action clock, whatever you want to call it, also in play here during this event. Absolutely necessary to keep the pace of play good, but in limit games, you don't see players use a lot of time generally. Now, at final table spots where one bet can make the difference between finishing 5th or maybe having a chance to get down to heads-up play, understandably players using more time. So as you can see, look at Chambers on the right here. He can literally take a lunch break with all the time bank chips that he has left.
Call.
And the call is made by Minor. Milgrom going to show the ace-4. That's going to be enough. Takes it down.
Little misstep there for Minor on the end, as he's now down to 1.5 million, so just under 4 big bets.
All right, game change. First hand is stud high.
Switch it up.
I'm sorry, Razz. My bad. Razz.
Oh, we're going to Razz.
Everyone's favorite, right?
Polar opposite of stud high, as was called. By the way, let us know in the chat, what's your favorite game? Like, what's your favorite game from H.O.R.S.E? 5-game rotation. Don't come at me with no limit hold'em. We'll save that for another day. What's your favorite game of this rotation? If I had to pick for myself from the H.O.R.S.E mix, it's so tough because I'm more of a 8-game or 10-game player. Big fan of the draw games myself. I think I will go with stud 8. I think stud 8 is a very varied game. Quite a bit of trickery going on. Razz plays more straightforward, even though there are definitely some strategies in play that could, you know, veer you off the common path where you basically just bet your hand the way that it's shown. Wong here is going to complete. He's got the deuce showing, 9-5 in the hole. So keep in mind, when you play Razz or stud, you want to keep track of the up cards of your opponents, cards that have been folded. Whether you use those as outs or blockers, it goes both ways. You'll see lots more aggression in Razz generally because the player with the lowest board showing will usually bet. Now there are expectations, but you know, check raising in Razz is not something you see all that often. Players bet their own hands for the most part. Now the trickery comes in where you have a low board showing, but your hole cards are high. Then you just got to make sure it doesn't go to showdown. Oh, chat's popping off here. Jamie Bluffett says stud 8 is a blast. Lots of love for Razz and 08 here in the chat. Ross the boss says Razz is the most pure game. Wow. You got a Razz tattoo, buddy? The pure game. I don't think I've heard that one before. PokerGO chat also leaning towards Razz. One of the people saying limit hold'em against the mixed field. That is interesting. You'll see more of that in the 8-game and 10-game variety, where some of the quote-unquote no-limit blasters will play this game because there's quite an edge to be had in those games, from their perspective, obviously, to really apply some pressure and do some damage in the big bet games. And Joe Volpe says, deuce 7 triple draw. I'm with you, man. Triple draw, single draw, Badoogie, those are probably my favorite non-hold'em games. Seeing a question from Salfetka, asking whether horses always limit. Yes, horses always limit. It's always these 5 games. Now there are variations,
Compete.
Thors
Two.
and Shoe, also abbreviations highlighting the games in play. And Chen here with the 8 up is going to complete
Call.
after Wong brings it in with the 10. So the lowest, excuse me, the highest card has the bring in, which is 50,000 at this current blind level. Chambers is going to call with the 7 up, and there comes Milgrom with a monster. Ace 4-3 puts in the 3-bet. Chen with the quick call with the 8 showing. Chambers with the 7 calling, getting a nice price, also comes along. And this is where the board gets interesting. Just look at the cards players will receive. Lowest board will go first.
Great pull here for Milgrom.
Oh yeah, monster pull. This might actually end it right here on the spot. Chen, who was the original raiser, went out of the way fast. Now for the small bet, Chambers comes along with the queen. Catches a 9 on 5th. Milgrom knows that he's still out in front.
Okay.
Best possible hand, 10-6. Chambers' best possible hand, queen 9. Now Chambers might be thinking, if I improve to a 9-7,
Is my hand even good?
yeah, I mean, that's
Like if my opponent improves.
really serious question.
And that, you know, Milgrom obviously realizes that, and he's in a great spot here. He's got the 10 made right now, beating the Queen of Chambers. Yes, he's also drawing to something better.
Chambers does decide to let it go. And Milgrom with a nice pickup here. Milgrom up to 6 million. The haves and the have-nots, he and Wong far out in front. PokerGO chat mentioning H.O.R.S.E events are popping off right now as well. Donnie, are we heading towards the death of H.O.R.S.E just because of mixed game players enjoying triple draw more than limit hold'em?
Is it hard
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's
pushing?
death of H.O.R.S E, but
That is brutal.
less volume in terms of being able to play it. You know, even WSOP on their schedule, right? They had a 3K horse at the end of the schedule. Now they have a 3K horse in replace of it. So, you know, you're starting to see that. Yeah, of course. Here, though, the commission loves his horse, so we're still playing it.
OG, old school player.
Can't clubs right now.
Compete.
Complete 2.
Look at Chen on that steal here.
This is what I just mentioned. All it takes is a good up card, and you know, Chen glancing around the table notices that there's many high up cards, and Wong is going to defend here with good down cards. So let's see if we can turn this into a fair fight, and Chen gets another really good card for his hand. As you can see, Wong, big favorite equity-wise, but has to wonder, what am I up against here? And he does let it go. So if you're new to Razz, that's how it's done.
A good recognition there from Chen. I know it was a little delayed with the graphics coming up, but he immediately saw 8-9 jack behind him. Obviously, he's got the king coming in, so I'm going to pounce here with my 4 as my up card, and got a good card on 4th Street, continued, and took it down. So well done by him. Stud's version of playing the player, not the cards, right? You know, you're playing the boards. Oh, could be some action here with these up cards. 7 is the bring-in. Let's have some fun. Minor taking a look around.
10
Not going to play that one given the other up cards that are out there.
Complete.
Complete from Milgrom. Chen's got a pair, so not even going to take a shot for the cheaper price. And Milgrom takes that one down. Gets up over 6 million.
Queen of Hearts bringing. Complete.
Chambers brought it in. Wong completes. He's got an 8 up. Ace 4 in the hole. Minor with the 3 up here. 9-6 in the hole.
10 seconds.
Oh,
Comes along. Chambers could be invited in here with that Ace 6 in the hole, looking to
you played.
pick up a nice card on 4th and be able to continue. 3 ways we go.
8 of diamonds.
Minor drawing the best here. Both his opponents got paint. He comes out with the lead. Chambers is out. Wong is in there.
Okay. Kings are new. 8 of
Pair of
diamonds
kings
to
over there for Wong. He's not going to like to see that. Quick bet from Minor and a quick fold from Wong. You really do love to see that in Razz or Stud or anything. Your opponent just draws a card that you know you're just going to bet he's going to fold. That's just a great outcome.
Alright, last minute Razz. Jack of clubs bringing.
Does look like we have a little chip count error with Minor being on 825K. Looks like he's got at least 2 million there, so bear with us while we get that one fixed.
Complete.
Chambers going to complete with a 3 up, 7-6 in the hole. Nice starting hand for him. Gets it done.
And game change. First hand of stud high.
Switching it up now, 7 card stud high.
Now, of all the games, from my perspective, this is the most difficult one. Assessing your own hand value versus your opponent's value, definitely really hard in this game. There's no bailouts, such as, you know, the board running a certain way in Razz, or, you know, a backup low like you have in Stud 8 and in 08, or even in Limit Hold'em, where the game is basically pretty straightforward. But in Stud High, there's no chops, there's additional betting streets, so it can get really pricey.
Yeah, you know, Stud High has always been an extremely interesting game for me personally. It's been a fun one to learn initially, but extremely difficult to get good at. You know, as you mentioned,
Right.
it does take a really good skill being able to read where you're at.
And Chen here completing with the queen up and 2 10s down. In stud high, you're looking for connectivity or high pairs. Now, of course, being rolled up is the dream, but
Oh, yes.
that only happens once every couple thousand hands, I think.
I think we saw it on the last PGT Mixed Games. We saw
Twice, I think.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
But yeah, like, so you're looking for pairs, big pairs. You're looking for connectivity. You're looking for rundowns, suited cards. And, of course, you're looking for your outs to be available. If you're holding 3 hearts and there's 4 up cards that are also hearts, it's going to be pretty hard to make a flush.
Yep.
You know, just to point that out.
Yeah, one of the best things you can do in any of the stud games, Razz, stud high-low, is just pay attention to up cards. You know, put your phone away, watch the up cards as they come out.
Deuce of spades bring in.
And, you know, even if you're not directly in a hand, it can often help you piece together what your opponents are doing if they're playing a hand, and that can, of course, then give you more information for how they play. Wong with the bring in here with the deuce of spades. And 7-card stud, lowest card brings in. Chambers is going to attack here with a steal spot. Gets it done.
And even though Chambers has a 4 showing, Wong just simply does not have a hand worth continuing with. So even though your senses might say, what could he really have? How much trouble could I be in? You got to make your own hand. No community cards, obviously 7-card stud. Once again, thanks everyone for tuning in and joining us here on both YouTube and PokerGO. And we're live on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Bring in the mixed games to the masses. We're really stoked to have an opportunity to show off some of these incredible games.
Four diamonds bring in.
Sorry.
And look at this. Split aces for Chambers. Very nice scenario. Milgrom with an ace down. He has split 5s. Chen with the bring in with the 4 showing.
Raise.
And look at this. Milgrom with those split 5s is going to race. Wong's split 7s end up in the muck. Milgrom, who has an ace to go along with his 5s, sees the potential of maybe making aces up. That'll be hard given the fact that Chambers has 2 of them. And Milgrom, of course, also raising here because with him having an ace down and Chambers having an ace up, the chances of Chambers having an ace down is much more unlikely.
Check.
10 of hearts for Chambers as Milgrom continues betting here.
Call.
Just a check call from Chambers. Lots of times in stud, you're either far ahead or far behind. And in this case, Chambers far ahead now, making 2 pair. And he is indeed going to take control of this one, leading out on 5th Street. Raggedy showing up cards here for Milgrom. Given the fact that he 3-bet on 3rd Street, makes you assume that the Queen of Hearts and the 9 of Hearts don't really connect with his range. So Chambers,
10 seconds.
other than the fact that having 2 pair, will also feel extremely safe against those up cards. And Chambers takes this one.
Four hands remain in the level.
There are only 4s in that deck? Short deck? I believe you, I believe you.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Twice in a
Alright,
row.
so 4 hands in the level, 4 hands of stud remaining.
Still playing stud
Four hands
high.
bring in.
All players quickly glancing at the up cards before making their decisions. Chambers with the bring in. And Milgrom now 5 up and a pair of 10s in the hole. Very well disguised.
Never heard a story
Strong
of the
pair
icon
here.
shuffle.
Now Chen here folding
No.
the 10 as an up
So
card
it was,
is going to make
icons
Milgrom a
that's
little bit more
supposed to
cautious.
randomize songs
Chances of
and
him
put
making
it-
trips have been
and,
severely limited,
people got
but
pissed off because they would hear
it
the
won't
same
come into
song
play.
back to back. They're like, this isn't shuffling. What are you doing? But if it's truly random, you're gonna have back to back once in a while. So, but they actually have to like make an algorithm that simulated randomness.
The random.
Yeah. Never truly random. That's why you see streaks in like slot machines and stuff like that.
Nine of hearts for him.
9 of hearts, the lowest card on this round.
It's always mildly tilting when you have
Oh.
like a medium or a high card and stud. You know, kind of similarly also in Razz. And
Get the Razz bring in with the 7.
yeah, and you're just like, what the heck's going on here?
Right.
Split queens here for Chen. He's going to raise it up after Wong completes with king queen. And this is interesting here. Wong
You got my queen. I still have.
Yeah,
with the king raising because he sees the queen from Chen, making it less likely that Chen has a queen down, but in this case he does.
Randomness.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
was
To find out.
naturally a
possible,
good
right?
squeeze
It's
spot
possible.
anyway, right? Where he could attack even without that queen, but then even more
Oh, yes.
likely so, as you mentioned, because, again, it just makes it less likely that your opponent has a pair when you know you have one in the hole there. But also, I think, I think that's a good raise from Chen as well. I think a lot of players might be like, okay, well, he could have a king, so I'm just going to call. Well, I mean, it's a pretty good steal spot for Wong in general. He's the chip leader. He's been aggressive, so I'm just going to raise now here and start driving the action. And, a lot of times, like you see there, Wong's just going to have nothing in fold because he is trying to take advantage of the spot more so than actually having a hand. I feel like we're ready to go for WSOP. I'm already ready.
You're
We've
locked
been
in.
here an
Yes.
hour. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried of how rusty my my mixed game would be. We've
Same.
called so much. We've called so much Hold'em, but at least you and I have covered probably more mixed game WSOP tournaments between live reporting and commentary than
It's
any.
not necessarily by choice. It's more that like no one else wants to do it, so they just said, "You guys take this."
But
And then it's David Funkhauser and Dan Zach till
5 in the morning.
for 3 days straight playing stud high low.
we sort of got ourselves into this kind of trouble. But it is interesting because, Donnie and I both have a Poker News background. That's how we both got started in poker for those that follow the live updates. I would absolutely live for the days that I got the call to do the live reporting on the 10K championship events with, of course, the 50K being the cherry on top. There was
Oh,
just
yes.
something about those events that, was truly special. And I think here at the PGT, we're recreating that in a
10 seconds.
similar kind of way where, of course, you cannot go up against 40-plus years of prestige at the WSOP. But what you are seeing here is that the mixed game community has a tremendous appetite to play in these games. And it's just really cool to be able to do this once a year. And, the PLO series now up to twice a year.
Seconds.
Miner here brought in and called the complete from Milgrom.
Check.
Milgrom is just going to continue. I mean, this 4 looks just like a dangler. I mean, what does that really do for Milgrom's hand? And now that says all in, but obviously he's not all in. Going back to those card graphics or chip count graphics we had a little while ago, so he's still got about 1.1, 1.2 million behind. Does Miner, so bear with us there.
4.
We're told that's getting fixed shortly, so stick with us.
And Milgrom lets this one go.
Yeah, good recognition there, just reading the texture of the board from your opponent and taking advantage of that and pouncing. Well done.
Change and level change.
Yeah, but going back to your point, you know, you like mixed games, I feel like are predominantly played as cash games year round, at least for higher stakes. Of course, there is, you know, some lower buy-in stuff that does make it onto various tournament schedules. But this is really the one spot that these guys have to come outside of the WSOP to play these level of buy-ins.
Here's a look at the road to the championship because there are PGT points up for grabs in every single one of these events. The top 40 will qualify for the $1 million free roll. That's right, it's a $1 million prize pool free roll for the top 40 players, and starting stacks are based on leaderboard positions. So you can also win a seat at home. Go to pgt.com/dream-seat to find out opportunities for you guys at home, fans, the viewers, to perhaps qualify for that event, which will be happening at the end of this PGT season.
250, 500.
We got a social media contest. You just hit some retweets, some follows. You can possibly win a seat that way. I think we're giving one away via the PokerGO podcast. We have a partnership with the Run Good Poker Tour. There are various avenues to win one of those dream seats and get into that $1 million championship. So go get your raffle tickets.
Who doesn't like a raffle?
Yeah, I mean, come on. And that tournament, I know we've talked about it on other streams, but maybe not here today yet. But $1 million free roll, you might think, oh, $1 million, I got to compete with 1,000 players. No, 50 people. You know, you're going to have 45 to 50 people. Last year in the championship, it was 44 players. So that's a really, really good shot at winning a boatload of money. Got some action here. Pot swells up over 1.3 million between Wong and Milgrom. Milgrom's got a pair of 10s in the hole. We are playing stud high low right now, so that explains Jerry Wong's hand with the 7-4, 5-3, most notable here. Drawn to a low, drawn to a straight. He hits the low with the ace.
And of course, this goes back to what we saw earlier. Wong knows that Milgrom cannot make a low.
Yeah, and that ace is an interesting card too, because if Wong is going low, he can have an ace as well, and that, you know, makes things trickier for Milgrom. Milgrom, yes, has 2-pair, of course, but what if your opponent makes some sort of 2-pair? Like, this is a weird spot for me.
And there it is, Wong recognizing that he's basically free rolling this thing.
Yeah, dark check, dark bet.
Milgrom is going to make the call. Low versus 2-pair. Chop it up.
7 low and
Ace
7
king
high.
I was like, what the hell? Doesn't even make sense.
Thought this way you said it first, and I thought I heard
I
wrong.
was like, damn.
I did say it.
I get that straight.
Made him shit his pants a little bit.
We do have those chip counts correct at the top of the screen for minor, sitting right around 2 million now. Jerry Wong still the chip leader, 7.9 for him. Slightly down on the day from where he started. Chambers and Milgrom are up the most. Minor also down from where he started. But swingy games. Don't think just because it's limit poker, you know, the pots won't get big, the chips won't swing from player to player. They certainly do.
Deuce of hearts bring in 75.
Let us know in the chat who's impressed you the most so far. 30 hands into this final table. Seeing some love for Milgrom in the PokerGO chat. Definitely has been playing well. But the same can be said for the other players. A very even match. With the biggest difference, of course, being those stack sizes.
I want to get to a million big bet.
A million?
I mean, we're at 500K.
So that's what?
We can get there.
2 more levels? levels in the first 2 events are 30 minutes in length, and then they start going up from there. The first 2 events are 5K buy-ins, and then we go up to 10K buy-ins. And if you want to follow along with live reporting, you can do so on pgt.com. You can click on the live reporting tab at the top of your screen. And if you do that, you will find out that there are currently 93 players in the 5K 8 game, and it is literally only 2 p.m. here in Las Vegas. So late registration and re-entries.
I mean, that's going to smash the record.
It's going to hit 150.
That's out of control. So the record is obviously this event for PGT Mixed Games tournament, 130. But to put that into context, the record was 89. It's not like the record was 125. No, the record was 89 last year, and this blew it out of the water. And now it looks like this next tournament, the 8 game, is going to blow that out of the water.
Insane. Love to see it here. Chambers, by the way, completing with the ace-ups and the pair of 6s down. Looks like that's going to do it. But yeah, a few names here that we're seeing in event number 2. Mike Leah is in town, all the way from Canada. And then lots of superstars, including Scott Seaver, Chad Evesledge, Jim Colopy. We got Wasserson, may or may not be wearing a Dolce & Gabbana jacket. We'll find out about that later on. Chino Reams in the house. Alan Kessler getting his bread here inside the PokerGO Studio. Phil Hui, former winner of the 50K PPC. Adam Friedman, back-to-back-to-back winner of the 10K Dealer's Choice. David ODB Baker. I mean, I can just keep going on and on. By the way, Yuri Zivalevsky is also in the house. Shout out to all my Brazilians. They will also be streaming some final tables on the PokerGO Brazil channel.
2 diamonds, Brandon.
Yeah, it's good to see Yuri make the trip up here from Brazil to get into the mix. And I also think that out of the 10 satellite winners, the satellite, by the way, you could play either event number 1 or event number 2, both the same buy-in, 5,100. You could use the ticket for either. I think 7 of the 10 played this 5K horse event. So this second event, the 8 game, isn't even really benefiting from all the satellite people getting in there. It's just players, which is awesome to see.
Well, there were some satellite winners. They min cashed the 5K horse.
They're just rolling it over, right? I don't think you mentioned Daniel Negreanu. I don't think you mentioned Kerry Katz, but I would expect both of them to be in the mix. They were in the mix in this event yesterday. Came a little bit late.
Yeah, but Donnie, I can only scroll down
okay,
so far.
Okay, I got it.
But like also, if you
I'm just
want,
saying they're coming.
If you want me to go at this, Matthew Ashton, former 50K PPC winner, Andrew Brown, Brown Dog, also in the house, Dmitry Urbanovic, all the way from Poland, James Obst in the house. There must be some good tennis.
He was on the fence super late, and I know he was going back and forth with his fellow Aussie, our commissioner, Tim Duckworth, saying, you know, if I come, I'm kind of really trying to work out. Where can I work out? Tim's grinding. He's like sending him pictures of the ARIA gym. He's like, look how great this thing is. He's really getting him, and he got James Ops here.
Gotta give credit to Tim Duckworth, the PGT commissioner, putting on tremendous events, always thinking about the players, and the players definitely rewarding him with their participation as we have a big pot developing here between Wong and Milgrom, the 2 big stacks in this event. Wong with split aces, and that deuce of diamonds keeps him alive for a low draw. Now Milgrom has a pair of 5s and is just as close to a low as Wong is. Both players need running low cards to get there, and this keeps that sort of dream alive. Milgrom has the chance here of hitting an epic card. A 3 would give him a straight and a 6 high low. Wong with split aces is just going to fire at this again. And the ace being part of Wong's up cards might make this thing a little bit more tricky for Milgrom, because it sort of blocks Milgrom's chances of hitting that.
This pot is massive.
Huge. Wong whiffs. Oh, wow. And Milgrom whiffs completely. So this one goes one way. Wong with a pair of aces has the best hand. Now Milgrom will realize this, and is he going to reach and try to bet this? He won't.
Pair of aces.
This deuce is kind of funky. You see it?
Massive scooper here for Jerry Wong.
We get it set up.
No low by either player.
What's on it?
It's like a nail
3.2 million
okay.
heading in Wong's direction, and he'll
Giving it up.
take quite a leap ahead of the rest of the field here yet again.
Just when you thought Milgrom was really starting to gain some steam,
No,
Oh, I see it. in
he
the
gets
corner.
clipped there by the chip leader, Jerry Wong. Big pot, up over 3.2 million, was out there.
Usually in the middle. That's why I was looking in the middle for it.
yeah,
Pair of aces takes it. I thought there was a chance that Milgrom might bet that
so excited.
that 7th Street there. You know, just thinking, well, if my opponent somehow has like a pair of jacks or something, maybe I can get him to fold that. Not that Wong would have, but went the showdown route instead and saw the aces for his opponent.
All right, here's a look at the beautiful Las Vegas skyline. By the way, spring has started here. It's so beautiful outside right now. But if you are inside, please head on over to octopipoker.ai to start working on your poker game. You can drill real spots from PGT final tables over at octopipoker.ai, the ultimate poker lab for everyone.
Poker's good.
Still playing 250K, 500K. Half an hour levels. We should see lots of blood being spilled in the next hour. So if you're tuned in right now, please hang out with us as we provide you this coverage on both YouTube and PokerGo and on Twitter or X, however you want to call it.
We're everywhere, baby.
We're everywhere, yes.
Are we still allowed to be called the circus if it's in the middle of the day? Is that allowed?
I don't know,
I mean,
Donnie.
these are circus games, right? I mean, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess so.
2 more hands of steady.
Bonus Boys doesn't really apply either because there's nothing else going on but our stream right now. Please know, by the way, that if you're on YouTube, it would really be cool if you could like the video. Let's get us up to 200 likes.
Final hearts bring in.
Split fives here for Chen with the bring in. Split sixes for Chambers.
Complete.
Complete 250.
Chambers completes. Action back over to Chen. Now, if you have split fives with a 3, stud 8 or better, probably the best game to have that in. Still, of course, needs lots of improving.
yeah, he also has 2 to a flush as well, so not the worst spot to be in. Discounted price, you know, having brought in.
Chen is going to play it very cautiously and let go of his pair. I feel though a little bit of a looser player would call there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can happen on 4th, right? Your opponent could catch bad, you could catch really good, and then you can continue from there. I would have taken a shot there.
Alright, last hand of steady.
You heard the dealer. We're moving on after this one.
Yeah, don't get too attached to your favorite game. Every 7 hands, we switch games. This is a 7-handed tournament, as indicated by the amount of card boxes you see on the felt. Absolutely tremendous work
Trade hearts bring in.
from our in-house team, designing, developing, and putting these felts and RFID readers into play.
Complete.
Special boxes for the 5 cards, as well as the runway, I believe they call it, where you
yeah.
place.
Yeah, if it's not called that, it's called that now.
It's
Okay.
exactly, yeah, the runway where the stud cards go.
Call.
Chambers brings it in with a 3, has a 6 and a 5 to go with it. Very
Ace of spades.
nice sort of starting hand to try and develop perhaps a straight or a straight and a low.
Yeah, gets a good card here with that 8.
Yeah, while Chambers gets the worst card with the 9, doesn't qualify
Nines
for
are
the
new.
low.
8s are new. 9s are high.
Well, now things get a little funky.
Okay.
Both players pair.
Bet.
Milgrom, though, even though he obviously knows that he's behind right now, he has those pairs. He can draw to the low. His opponent is in a tough spot if he was going for the low.
Call.
Chambers does come along here. He gets a 4, a 10 for Milgrom. Chambers, pretty good card for him. He's got 3, 4, 5, 6 there. He's got the pair of 9s. He's got 4 to a flush as well.
Bet.
Milgrom does check back, so we're going to go to 7th.
Pair of 9s.
Last card down, as always. Milgrom makes 10s and 8s. Now, is there a heart there for Chambers? There is! Wow, Chambers turns it into a scooper, while Milgrom might feel a little additional confidence here by pairing his 10, knowing that he can at least beat that pair of 9s.
Yeah, he could also beat some 2 pairs that your opponent might slide in there with if he's value betting those. So I would imagine Milgrom is going to pay this one off, yes, and then he's going to see the bad news that it was just a beautiful river card for Walter Chambers.
Milgrom, of course, would have loved to have hit a low card, but
Flush,
instead he
7
gets 2 pair, calls it off, and gets scooped. Milgrom recently up to 5.5 million, now down to 2.1 as Chambers takes down a massive one.
Yeah, first big loss went to Jerry Wong for Milgrom. Then there he lost to Walter Chambers. And he just goes tumbling down the leaderboard, 2.1 million. We are switching the game right now. Walter Chambers up over 5 million. His hat says it all. Boss.
125, 255.
Hold 'em. Let's go. Limit hold 'em.
Not the Cadillac.
Not, definitely not the Cadillac. Nice.
Code HDN says, okay, this is cool. And then he goes, hold on, what's the game called? Stud high-low or stud 8 or better split.
250 to call.
I would highly recommend checking out our PokerGo offering called PokerU, which is an addition onto your PokerGo subscription. If you go to pokergo.com/training, you can find out more, as we have quite a nice variety of mixed game videos on offer in
Almost raised. 10K.
collaboration with Run It Once. Looking at it right now, we have Jungle Man with a 25K 10-game review.
And hold them 10K experience.
That's a good
Ryan
hand.
Hastings
Great hand.
analyzes the Dolly's game 1K, 2K
Must have had a
mixed.
feeling.
No,
Hastings also
It
with
was
lots of
mistake.
reviews
was
of
mistake.
last year's
playing lucky.
PGT Mixed Games. So if you want to dive deeper into the mixed game streets and learn from some of the best, check out pokergo.com/training.
Yeah, it should. I open.
Guess what I was
Deep
what I was
shooting.
doing last night?
Up should.
What's that?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Watching
Yeah.
PokerU videos. Freshen up the memory a little bit.
Raise. Call. That's it.
Jerry Wong, King Queen, raises from the small blind. Chen defends, Jack 6 off in position from the big. Queen 7-3 with a couple of hearts. This is going to be bet and fold, I would imagine. Nothing there for Chen.
Raise.
King 10 suited on the button for our chip leader. Comes in with the raise.
I don't want to get hissed at on the flop.
Well, you're not a stare eater. So you're staring at me. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, okay.
Gave him something to stare at.
I got it now.
King Jack here for Milgrom. Gives it up.
Raise.
Early
Raise.
position,
Raise.
two pretty short stacks in Chen and Minor.
Six,
Gonna let
750.
Wong hopefully do the work here.
I think you're short.
You've got
And there's Chambers with a pair of queens in the big blind. We saw it pop up on screen
Oh,
a
yeah,
moment ago, but
like this, so half.
Chen with very unfortunate timing here, putting 750 in the middle. He's been very tight.
Yeah, I mean, this is an understandable spot with the ace-3 suited against the chip leader who's been getting active plenty. Unfortunately for him, for Chen, he just is going to run into it here with the queens for Chambers.
And we have our first raise to $1 million, a 4-bet in limit hold'em. Do you think Wong's trying to figure out the price here? And he does make the call.
Yeah, I mean, if he thinks these two guys got high cards, maybe the equity's there with the 9-7 of clubs. You know, take this multi-ways. You can quote-unquote afford it as the big chip leader, so it's, you know, it's not the end of the world. And he does come along, so here we go. And haven't seen a flop yet. It's limit hold'em, and there's more than 3 million out there.
Wow, what a flop for
Oh.
Jerry Wong.
What a flop for everyone. We got the nut flush draw.
Oh my God,
We got
you're
an
right.
overpair. We got 9-7, has middle pair, open-ended, backdoor clubs. This is fireworks. Let's go.
Chambers bets 250. Wong instantly raises. Chen's going to be all in here. He's going to be happy to have the nut diamond draw. But Chambers with a pair of queens obviously is going to tread carefully on the turn here, knowing that, you know, 8-6, 8-7, 7-6s and 8s could potentially be in Wong's range.
Yeah, I mean, Wong can have like a lot of different connectivity there. Maybe you don't just want to go crazy against the diamond draw right now. Maybe see a safe card on the turn.
So a little bit of math here to establish the main and the side pot. Chen is all in for his tournament life, looking for a diamond. As you can see on the screen, equity's favoring his hand right now.
That's over here.
Action on the side between Chambers and Wong as we go to the turn with 4.5 million in the middle, and the 6 of hearts pairs the board. Perhaps a little bit of a security blanket for Chambers here, because this might have Wong slowing down, but I spoke too soon. Wong fires right away, and Chambers makes the call.
Well, if anyone's got a 6, it's probably Wong, right? Just with the position, the situation, all that sort of stuff.
River card is the 5 of hearts, and the straight comes in for Wong. Enormous pot. If Chambers calls, it's going to be 6.5 million, and it's all going to Jerry Wong.
Just too much out there. I think he's probably going to pay this off. I mean, that said, you know, I know a lot of these really good mixed game players, they'll save a bet here and there when it looks like the price is just insanely good.
Does make the call.
Okay.
9 high straight.
9-7 of clubs shown. Chen will be our first
Go game
casualty
back.
from this final table.
Here you go.
And Chambers, for good measure, tabling his queens
That was
as
good
those
flop.
cards head towards the muck.
but all
What
yours.
a absolutely enormous pot going to Jerry Wong, and it took all about a few minutes here as limit hold'em plays so incredibly fast.
I'll take a water.
Crazy.
Oh,
Huabao
okay.
Chen busting in 5th place, taking home $39,000 for his efforts.
Tiny little bit of sugar.
Final four now guaranteed $52,000, and Minor in particular will be
Just a
happy
little bit
to
of sugar.
lock up that pay raise.
No problem.
But if you look at
I'll
it
take
right
a
now,
sip,
Donnie,
please.
it might be
I'll have something to throw up in.
a 3-horse race to see who can get second here.
Couple things of note. One, Chen did that 39K payout off a $750 satellite. So keep that in mind when we promote these satellites. It could happen to you. Second, don't forget that Milgrom there under the gun folded King Jack.
Oh,
so
yeah.
avoided, losing some chips, getting into that melee that occurred afterwards that ultimately resulted in Chen's elimination and Jerry Wong going over 13 million. I mean, hello.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
Look at this chip lead. 13.3.
River.
No one else has more than 3. This is wild.
Or untimely. What is it?
Life's a matter of perspective.
Yep.
And this isn't just like, anyone that has the chip lead. This is Jerry Wong, a very, very skilled, very, very good, seasoned, experienced mixed game player. I mean, good luck to everyone else, but as far as I'm concerned, you're playing for second, okay?
Yeah. Anyone in here wants to bet on Minor, Chambers, or Milgrom, let me know in the chat. Yeah, Jerry Wong.
And then he gets ace queen. I mean, it's just sometimes it's not enough to just be good. You got to get good cards. You got to run hot, all that sort of stuff.
Check.
Top pair though, for Chambers.
Yeah, Chambers here perhaps with a little bit of defense leading to offense. And without giving Jerry Wong's cards too much credit, I just want to highlight the fact that this man is the former winner of the 10K Razz Championship at the WSOP, has an 8th place finish in the WSOP main event, also a 4th place finish in the 10K PLO at the WSOP, won a triple draw mix at last year's PGT Mix, and has final tables at the WSOP in triple draw mix, stud 8 or better, mixed big bet, and as I scroll down the list of results, basically every other game. So Jerry Wong, definitely one of those players who just does it all. But right now, he's about to give some chips back to the man he just robbed.
2 pair now on the river for Chambers. He comes with another bet, 500K. Wong does pay it off.
Kings of Queens with a 10.
So nice pot there for Walter Chambers as he shoots his stack up over 5 million now.
That was the last hand.
So listen, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon because Walter Chambers just said, "Settle down over there."
Is there a break or no? After this level. 153 playing 3-6. Two more hands of Hold'em. Three to call.
Now it's Walter Chambers' turn with ace queen. He's on the button.
10 seconds.
Raise.
Raise 6.
Blinds are up, or limits are up, 300K, 600K. I'm probably going to say blinds a million times this series.
Well, there are blinds right now.
There are blinds, yes, and they are also up, yes.
Yes.
10 seconds.
But generally in the mixed games, we speak of limits, as 884 smashes Wong as he goes head-to-head with Chambers again. Of course, Milgrom and Minor happy to see these two go at it, but they would love to see Wong pick up the chips
Raise.
because he could secure them a pay jump right now. Now, if you're Chambers, Donnie, are you supposed to be extra cautious due to some ICM implications?
Yeah, I think you should be. Like, it should be on your radar here. You don't really want to just go nuts and implode your stack when you know Minor's over there on just over 2 big bets. Milgrom's got just over 3 big bets.
Oh.
Wong continues to bet his trips. Chambers is going to come along, and you'll see this a lot in Limit Hold'em. Lots of ace-high calls, and the ace on the river could be so costly yet again. Wong fills up, and Chambers hits top pair. Look at this, Wong going in the tank, perhaps faking some weakness.
And I think Chambers right there, he knows that this ace should be my card, so if he's following through again, this could be some bad news for me. Like, he could very well just have an 8 here. Obviously, we know Wong has better than just an 8. He's got a full house, but yeah, he does pay it off, and he's going to see the bad news.
The Jerry Wong train keeps on rolling, and there's nothing more fun than being good at poker and catching cards at the right time. Milgrom on 2 bets. Excuse me, Minor on 2 bets. Milgrom on just shy of 3.
And look what that does to Chambers. He just had over 5 million. He just half his stack is gone now.
Yes.
You know, he's right back there with Milgrom and Minor.
Can fold.
Shout out to all of our viewers on YouTube and PokerGo, as well as on Twitter. Please make sure to smash the like button if you're catching us on the old YouTube. Trying to get up to 200 likes here. Don't get to do mixed games all that often, but it is definitely a lot of fun.
What was the one we
Change it up.
final table together last year? Was it this one or like the dealer's choice or something?
25K, the big minutes. I don't remember.
No, I wasn't in the.
10 seconds.
And that's only two. That's only two.
It was
Chambers
probably the
again.
big bet mix.
With the raising hand.
Time
Jeremy and Daniel were there, I think.
And Milgram's got a couple of 8s.
I don't recall.
Sub 3 big bets here for him.
10
Just going to try and get his money in here is Milgrom.
And you'll see this a lot in these Limit Hold'em games where players will 3-bet off the short stack, trying to get as much in the middle before the flop comes out. Hard to get a player to fold after they raise,
Call.
but at least you can improve your equity here by not letting the big line in for cheap. All right, so Chambers makes the call. We have a quote-unquote coin flip, but there's still chips to play for here. This is, of course, Limit Hold'em. Coin flip going to the flop, that is. And 7-4-3 will put a smile on Milgram's face. He can bet without concern.
Bet 3.
Now Chambers, of course, knows that he still has those overs, and the first bet is always a cheap one. And here we go. He's going to make the call. To the no limit hold'em eye, this might look suspicious, but in limit hold'em, that flop bet is basically pricing you in as a 6 of clubs on the turn. Surely gets Milgrom to shove here, and for 475, he moves all in.
Was that 5?
Chambers now running some numbers here.
Yeah, I mean, Milgram's just fine to bet this. You know, I don't think Chambers ever has any sort of 5. Probably isn't really connected with that at all. So if he folds out 2 overs, fine result. You know, don't gotta have to see a river and possibly get eliminated.
10 seconds. Time extension.
Chambers does get out of the way.
And this immediately puts Chambers in an incredibly tough situation himself. Dropping from 5 million to 1.4 million in the span of 2 hands.
I love when
I
the
meable
dealer just pushes the bot.
This limit hold'em game is so extremely volatile. One winner, just incredible amounts of pain to be dished out here. And a quick reminder to check out our shop, shop.pokergo.com. Official PokerGo and PGT merch available. You can save 10% with discount code PGT10. So scan the QR code on your screen or just head on over to the website. Go check it out. May I recommend the No Gamble No Future crew neck, which looks very, very nice. Just don't eat spaghetti or any other pasta while you wear it, which is what I did, and now I have a stain. So I got to go figure that out. Why is it always that when you put something white on, that the sauce just attracts itself to your clothes?
Yeah, you're like, I didn't even have sauce today. Where
like,
did it even come from?
Unreal. It happened to me the other day. Like, perhaps it just goes to show how many stains my other clothes have. Anyway.
Game change.
Game change. Limit 08. Now, in the event of an all-in, this game, of course, a lot more forgiving. Some bailouts, some lows possible, some chops. And Minor here, raising from the small blinds, committing the majority of his chips. He's got 2 low cards, 2 high cards, some semblance of a flush draw. And we see 10-4-7, 2 pair for Minor. Chambers with ace 3-8, giving him a fair amount of low cards to play with here.
He's got low cards. He's got a gutter to the 9. He's got backdoor clubs, even though he's got 3 of them in his hand. We're going to run it. Minor all in 325.
All right, so Minor at risk here. 71% to win the high, 5% to win the low. So this will most likely end up in a chop. But with 2 cards to come, we still could see a casualty here. Turn card is the ace of diamonds. Minor now picking up a flush draw. This also giving Chambers a low, but Minor still with a chance to make a better low. Even if Minor wins, Chambers is going to be on the ropes. 8 of spades on the river, and we will chop it up.
Ace, got a low, low and ace 8.
Live deuce still.
Oh, he might. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Live deuce better than a live 3.
Switch sides.
Okay.
And the high with the ace 8 goes to Chambers.
I just want to highlight, Donnie,
That's
that these are some of the best mixed game players in the world.
And they stared at the
and
board.
they still stare at the board, which the reason I'm saying that, never feel bad if you need a second to figure it out.
When I was learning
like a
to
bad
play some of
river
these
fight.
games, somebody who knew them better was probably the best advice if you're learning and you're playing in a live setting is literally just turn your hand over at the end.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, you might have to deal with some embarrassment if you do something completely ridiculous, but the dealer can read your hand for you. If you just muck your hand, you know, if you sit there and stare and you're like, oh yeah, he beats me, and then you muck, but maybe you had the winner, maybe you had half the pot, right? Maybe you didn't see, you know, you have a live deuce or a live 3 or whatever it may be. Just turn your hand over. Much like if you're playing PokerGO. Not that I'm going to hear, you know, stand on the table for table games, but if you're playing PokerGO, you just turn your hand over and say, hey, dealer, set my hand.
Wong basically with free reign to attack here. Even small pots like this make a difference, keeping that pressure on his opponents.
Oh, sorry.
Sling,
It's always in my working area.
slinging them around.
You just put them in the middle.
Stick them right here or something.
They want them here. So
They
I can
want 'em
s-
there?
I can tell what
I
the
got
play.
it.
Oh, for the cameras.
Yeah.
Both Minor and Chambers still hovering right around 2 big bets. Milgrom in the small blind off 5 big bets. That's another thing in these limit games. You know, we often think of the stacks in terms of how many big bets you have. In No Limit Hold'em or Pot Limit Omaha, you think, okay, I have this many big blinds. In the limit games, you think, okay, I have this many big bets. Ace 10 4 3, double suited here for Chambers on the button. Pretty good. Wong finds queen, queen, queen. Almost all the queens.
I thought I did.
Is there a
White
cash
six,
payout
too.
for?
And the jack was a club too, so it could have been the queen of clubs
Club
to give him the old quads. Chambers takes that one up to almost 3 big bets now. Minor sub 2 big bets, and he is in the big blind, posting 300K.
Double suited here for Chambers, but not great low potential.
10 seconds.
All high here for Milgrom.
Raise.
He's going to try and take down these blinds. It works. Once again, a reminder, we have 7 events streaming live on YouTube and PokerGo of the PGT Mixed Games series. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on post notifications, or become a PokerGo subscriber. And then you could always check out our PokerGo U, which has lots of Runner One's training content available to you. We're streaming live daily, with the exception of Sunday, a day of rest. And then this all leads to the 100K Super High Roller Bowl Mixed Games, which kicks off late next week. Until then, Donnie and I will be on the call for these quote-unquote smaller buy-ins. Tomorrow's final table will be a 5K 8 game, and we are literally smashing the numbers as that event, with still multiple hours of registration remaining, is already up to 96 players, including Jennifer Harmon.
Yeah, she was here in this event yesterday, so it's good to see Jen Harmon out there battling. Also, a little fun thing that we're doing this series, first break chip leader bonuses.
Oh, wow.
So yesterday it was Jeffrey Taylor who had the chip lead. He got a $1,000 bonus, so 1/5 of his buy-in back. Today, same thing. In the 10K dealer's choice, it's going to be a 10K Maury's mix, I should say. It's going to be a $1,500 first break bonus in the 15K dealer's choice. The 2K in the 10-game championship, it's a $2,500 bonus. So, you know, some added incentive to get here early before the first break and get involved, try and run up a stack.
If those things existed back when I used to play a lot, I would bust before the first break all the time.
Yeah.
Raise.
But it is cool. It is really cool. That is something that,
Especially in a tournament like now, with it's 8 games, so you have some of the big bet in there, right? You know, you can really like go after it. Not that it's a huge sum of money, but it's, you know, it's fun. And definitely yesterday in this tournament, the players were talking about it. There was some buzz coming back from the break. Some of the bigger stacks were like, did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it? Who had it? I want to count. I need to count. Like, we need to verify.
that is
It's
awesome.
a lot of fun.
So you heard it here on the stream. Chip leader bonus for the mixed game event. It's really cool.
I don't know if that's the right order.
No.
Jerry Wong reigning supreme here, 14.6 million. He's got the other 3 players over a barrel, so to say.
Yeah, Minor's just going to look to get his money in, of course. He's got 1 big bet left. But then Milgrom and Chambers to some extent, he's not going to want to bust before Minor busts. So that does put Jerry Wong in a great spot here, just to be able to leverage the other opponents. Minor is under the gun here, so he's going to need to make it happen.
I saw some people in the chat saying, wow, these limits are insane. No, Jerry Wong's stack is insane. The limits have progressed slowly but surely, but Jerry Wong's stack has progressed exponentially. Action over to Milgrom in the small blind. Just going to make the call. Check from Wong. And we're playing 7 hands of every game before we rotate. I saw a few questions about that. So 7 hands per game. And Milgrom
Somewhat action here?
Yeah, I was going to say, Milgrom is going to be not happy to see this. A bet and a call, 4 spades in the turn.
Okay.
Wong's
Okay.
jack somehow best here high-wise, but Milgrom does have flush and straight draw outs.
Call.
Dancing on the tightrope here for the Frenchman. The river brings the 6 of spades. Milgrom backs into a low.
Checks
Jerry
down.
Wong checks back.
This needs
Gonna chop this one up.
straight draw.
Yeah, I
Who
think
didn't
there
have a
on the
straight
turn is an example of
Ace 10.
Milgrom taking a more conservative approach. He's got the nut flush draw. He's got that straight draw. He did pick up a low draw on the turn.
Game change.
Maybe at a different juncture of the tournament, he just drives that action. But here, knowing where minor is, just takes that check call approach. Understandable, you know, you don't want to play a massive pot and really go crazy when minor is over there. Going to be in the big blind on the next hand, or, well, now we're switching to Razz, so that does change things, and bit of a benefit here to
I'm
minor.
going to give a hot take here. Razz is going to be the killer game. No chops,
Yeah.
many streets of action. If you want to play your hand, you're going to have to invest a lot of chips.
You're anteing on every hand, which is, obviously that doesn't necessarily matter for Jerry Wong, but when you're minor, when you're Walter Chambers here, you know, even putting 75K out there, I mean, that's what, 1/9 of the stack of minor over there, so it's a chunk, man.
Get a diamonds, bring in. Bring in 1.
This could be some action right here.
Yeah.
and 8's bringing in.
Players, of course, concerned about Wong's stack, but Milgrom with deuce 5-4 doesn't have any reason to be concerned. Takes this one down. Minor down to 1 big bet. Chambers on 2 big bets.
Queen of Hearts, bring in. Complete.
All in.
All in.
All in from Minor for 500K with 4-8-6.
Caught me.
Action gets back to Wong, who was on the steal, but with Queen 9-6 still has 25%. The brutal nature of this game.
9 was up.
Everyone's still going to receive
Oh,
4
yeah.
cards, so Minor
He's talking
does
dirty.
have to catch well to survive here.
The voice is in his head.
Right.
It's calling me a couple times.
All right, Minor at risk here for elimination. Let's see if Wong can improve.
Okay. Okay. Okay, where do you want to pitch then? In the back? Okay, I got it.
Not every day we get to see an all-in stud variety hand.
Okay.
Producer just making sure that the dealer places the cards so that we can properly see them.
Okay, so the queen's like, okay. What was
Is-
4 card was up. 4 card was up.
All right.
Other way.
4 card was up.
Other way.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. This goes back and then it goes in there.
There we go. Okay. Just making sure that the cards stay
Okay.
in their respective places.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay.
Once everything is verified and in place, going to see this run out here. Wong doesn't improve. Minor grabs an 8 and pairs. So that's not good news for him. 3 does improve Wong. And Minor
that's
pairs
bad.
again And look at how the odds swing in Wong's favor. With 5 unpaired cards, Wong now the favorite. Now the deuce again gives Miner a good chance.
Swinging back and forth here.
Still needs to hit though.
Oh, you don't even get to sweat it.
And Miner catches a 10
Perfect, huh?
and finds himself a double up.
Perfect.
Yeah. What's the bet?
He's sweating now on fourth. My fifth. I'm fifth street.
I'm like dead on this, right? I mean, I have to.
Right.
6 and 7. You just need to not pair, right?
If I catch king, yeah, I guess I win if I catch king
So
queen.
usually in split games they want symmetry face down, but they both have to be exposed.
But you can
after
improve still.
Bringing it all in.
Is that?
You can improve
I can improve. No.
if I catch a king.
Yeah. I guess I can improve to a queen.
Just,
Yeah, you've got half the.
Right, but usually what I was saying is 7th Street is normally down, not up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so when you're all in on 7th Street, it can go down. They just said it incorrectly. You can sweat 7th Street.
yeah, you guys do whatever you want.
Okay.
You gotta let them sweat. I mean, that's half the fun.
Exactly.
As long as they don't give you a boat.
Yeah, anything but that. 3 pair was also bad, right? Any 3 pairing dead? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
King of Spades bring in 100.
Milgrom
Complete.
with a very good starting hand. 6-4-5. Wong, not too bad. Ace 9-5. That ace 5 combo, very important. And ace 3-7 from Miner. We might see multi-way fireworks here with Chambers
10 seconds.
becoming a spectator.
Yeah, and if you're Miner, I mean, factoring in like how much longer can I wait? You know, I gotta get in there with these types of hands. Of course, they are very good.
You play yours.
And as I predicted, multi-way action here. Any no pair card now for these 3 players, and it could go all the way. No pair, no pair.
Nine of
Is that a
diamonds.
pair? Is that a pair?
No, he's got a 9.
9 spades.
Oh, okay.
He's got 9
6 and a 9.
No, I was asking what he had.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
10, not really what Miner wanted to see. And he's just gonna get out of the way right now.
Yeah, even harder to win this thing multi-way. And Milgrom with 9-6 versus Wong's 9-5. Equity's running extremely close. High variance situation. Wong pairs his 9. Milgrom catches a deuce, which doesn't pair him, and all of a sudden, he's a big favorite to receive what could amount to a double up. Now, Wong, of course, knows that his 9-5 draw is better than the 9-6 that Milgrom has. So 6th Street will be pivotal for how much confidence Wong has in taking this to showdown.
Wong might also be thinking, hey, maybe my opponent paired that deuce. I don't have a deuce. He could have easily have started with the deuce in the hole.
And this is a bad card now. Wong with 2 pair. Facing a bet.
6, 9, deuce 5.
And Wong does let it go. Nice pickup from Milgrom, who all of a sudden is up to 5 million. Swings, definitely swinging here at the final table of Event 1 of the 2025 PGT Mixed Games Series. As Flamingo Montoya says, chat is not very lively. Well, how about you help us out? Come chat with us on PokerGO.com. Little reminder here that you can take your game to the next level with official PokerGO merch. Shop now at shop.pokergo.com. Get yourself something nice, maybe for your friends, for your husband, your wife, Lots of cool stuff available in the shop, including hats, t-shirts, and hoodies, of course. My name is Remco Rinkum. Donnie Peters in the booth with me. Still four-handed. I promised and predicted there will be blood in this level. There's been some chances, but as of right now, we're still four-handed.
Need spades bring in.
Saved.
Complete.
Complete.
Minor completes with the beautiful looking 7-5-4. No concerns of flushes in this game in case you're new to this format.
Oh.
Flushes don't count against you.
Wong deems that ace-7 good enough, flicks it in.
4 hearts.
Minor just with an absolute monster here. Doesn't have any chips behind, but Wong is going to call. Being able to see a full run out in Razz can be very tempting.
9 of clubs is low.
And now
What's the bet?
Sorry.
Wong only has to call 50K, knowing that his chances of winning this hand are extremely low.
350.
No, the graphics are wrong. 350 is,
Oh, sorry.
is the bet here.
350.
So,
Okay.
but still, I mean, you know, Wong's thinking 2 pulls at this thing. Could I go perfect with that 8-7? This isn't even a full bet, so
10 seconds.
you know, Wong does have to factor in that 2 of the cards he'd be looking to hit, at least 2 of them, because he knows that Minor has a 4 and a 3 up,
Time extended.
are now not available. Is there any sort of chance my opponent paired? You know, he could just be betting on the fact that, you know, I have a king, then I got an 8, he got a 3, I paired my king. Is he just blasting away there? Wong says, no, thank you.
That's it.
Thanks.
Minor does show him.
Were you drawing to the 8 or no?
I was throwing to 8.
Okay, I'll have to pay with the phone. I've been double paired before.
Alright, that was the last thing on the level. Give me some break.
As always, we're making and breaking millionaires here at the PGT. So let's have a look at the current standings. Joey Wiseman, who we might as well call Joey Cup Wiseman because the PokerGO Cup was dominated by him out in front here. Kristen Fox, Eric Blair, Patrick Leonard, and Michael Monsek, better known as Texas Mike, in the top 5 right now of the PGT leaderboard. Go check it out at pgt.com/leaderboard as the top 40 qualifies for the $1 million free roll at the end of the year.
Most notable from that list, Patrick Leonard,
And you realize that
Michael
once you
Monchek,
join the
because they're both
generation,
here. The other players, Wiseman, Foxen, Blair, are either strictly no limit, if not big bet, no limit in PLO, if they even dabble in the PLO, but mostly no limit there. Pads, Patrick Leonard, he's out there battling in the mixed. He said during PokerGO Cup he was even looking more forward to the mixed game series. And then Michael Monchek as well, out there battling in the mixed series. So maybe some upward movement on the PGT leaderboard as it pertains to those 2 players. Wong brought in here with the queen up. Chambers completed.
10 seconds.
Milgrom, he's got a 10 up, but he does have that 5 deuce in the hole, and he's going to come. So possibly thinking here that, you know, my hand might be good enough.
50,000 more, I believe.
Chambers only has 1 big bet
I think so,
behind.
too.
He could be
No,
on a
I'm
steal
sorry.
to some
50,000
extent.
Less.
350 less.
Do we open?
And we can see that he has the best of it right now. He's drawn to that 10. Chambers has a queen in the hole.
Hello? Yep. No, I mean, is it open the car or
Pretty sure they're going to say yeah.
yes, open the car. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Stay the boxes. All right.
All right, awaiting
Forces
our
check,
next
right?
all-in showdown here. Jack for Chambers. 8 for Milgrom, and Chambers now in real danger of being our 4th place finisher. Milgrom catches an ace, makes it 10-8. Chambers now needing running cards to survive here.
Give me mine down.
This one's better.
Give me, I want mine down.
And the last one, face up or face down?
Down, let's sweat it.
Okay.
Yeah, sweat it. Let's go.
All right, so Milgrom turns it over right away.
Gotta beat a 10.
Try to see
The last card. Yes.
if Chambers can still make it here. And we can already see here that Chambers paired his 7. He's sweating it himself.
And he's 3-sider.
But Walter Chambers will be our 4th place finisher today in event 1 of the 2025 PGT Mixed Games. Very strong showing from him. 4th place will earn him $52,000. And we'll hopefully see him again in event number 2 as Milgrom rakes in the chips, gets back to the 5 million range, and we are down to the final 3.
And well done by Miner, finding another pay jump here. Doesn't have the biggest stack over there, but he's finding a way.
What was his 4th street card? Was it king or something?
All right, Miner now happy with the pay jump, but of course looking to fight on. Final 3 guaranteed $71,500. That pays for every event here at the Mixed Games Series, so if you want to call it that, on a free roll for Milgrom.
We need a new card.
Excuse me, for Miner.
Bingo.
As it is a custom in mixed game tournaments, players damaging cards. These cards are not cheap. RFID cards allow us to show you these games.
They're a little bit more stiff than regular cards, and we know mixed game players like to squeeze their cards a little bit more, so you guys can do the math. Know what that adds up to. Gonna have some more indentations, possible markings or whatever. Don't think we have anything nefarious to worry about here, but change the cards out nonetheless.
Still playing Razz. Deuce up here for Wong. He's going to raise. And Miner with ace-5 deuce.
400, right?
Tremendous spot here for him.
Yeah, I think this is the last hand of Razz as well, so great spot for him to try and win a nice one. Maybe double up, maybe even more.
Race.
10 seconds.
Milgrom going to get out of the way. Wong calls. Here we go.
All right, so Miner likely to end up all in here. Wong catches an 8, queen for Miner, and this, of course, will make Wong feel really good.
Yeah, just going to try and get the money in here is Wong. Miner, of course, too good of a hand not to come along. He's got 350K back, and Wong just puts him in dark and draws a 4.
Oh, wow.
And Miner gets more paint over there.
Damn.
Razz can be so brutal.
Ace-5 deuce, queen jack. Like, it's just...
It's the worst.
It's just the worst. Absolutely agree.
This was not a great run out, to say the least.
10 seconds.
And
He's
Miner-
probably in better shape than he might think, too.
Yeah, the jack in Wong's hand gives Miner some more outs. Wong pairs his deuce, and Minor catches a 10. Now this is going to be,
8 perfect.
well, we're going to see it right away here. The cards have already hit the scanner.
So I need to beat in.
Yeah, Wong got an ace
make
over
it.
there, which is just a perfect card for him.
All right, so Wong ends up with an 8-4 low. Nothing there from Minor, who goes queen, jack, 10, queen to find his demise in a hand of Razz. Benjamin Minor out in 3rd place, meaning he is off to a good start in this series, collecting $71,500. And now Wong versus Milgrom heads up, potentially the match we were anticipating given their stack sizes at the start of play. They're both guaranteed $97,500, and the winner will take home $159,250. So lots of money at stake here as we go to some heads-up horse, which should be quite fun. It's going to be fast. It's going to be exciting. Thank you all for tuning in. Please don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. As Wong sits on 13.3 versus the 6.1 of Milgrom.
I mean, Milgrom's done well to get to heads-up play here with a pretty respectable stack that he can fight with. You know, it's not like he got here, Wong's got 16 million, he's got 3 million, and he's just had a very, very, very large deficit. 2-1 is not the end of the world. So let's see if from here Milgrom can turn it around. But Wong has looked extremely strong. Chip leader to start this final table today. He has remained the chip leader throughout. We are playing 7-card stud.
10 seconds.
There's 2 spades.
Not only does Milgrom have 2 spades, he's got 4 spades, as we can see with the jack-6 of spades in the hole here. Wong has split 8s here on 4th. 5 of spades for Wong, 10 of clubs for Milgrom. Wong is going to continue to drive the bet in here. We are playing 400K, 800K on the limit, so 800K big bet now that we've made it to 5th Street. There is the call from Milgrom. Eight of spades for Jerry Wong gives him trips. Deuce over there for Milgrom gives him a pair of deuces on his board. 3.4 million out there. Wong's equity on this hand just shot up quite a bit. Would imagine. Oh, he comes with a check here. Okay. Milgrom checks back. 7th Street. King for Wong. Still got those trip 8s though. Milgrom could be in a spot where he ultimately pays off a bet because he makes 2 pair here. And there's the bet, 800K from Jerry Wong. And Milgrom's going to pay it off, and he is going to see the bad news. Trips for Jerry Wong. And the first real big pot here of heads-up play goes to Wong. He's now up to 16 million. Milgrom dips below 4 million.
If you're just tuning in, we're heads up. Event number 1 of the 2025 PGT Mixed Games. There it is. The trophy on the table and a quick look at the upcoming PGT events. We've mentioned it before. Super High Roller Bowl Mixed, the first of its kind, 100K buy-in, coming at you next week. We got the PLO series coming up, US Poker Open, Texas Poker Open, and then a little something called WSOP. You might have heard of it before. Check out the full schedule over at pgt.com/schedule, and make sure you don't miss any of the action if you're a poker fan. This is the best place to be, I promise.
30 PGT qualifying events this summer. Last year was 28,
that's
so
crazy.
2 more this time around. Tons and tons and tons of PGT. And we haven't even announced the second half of the PGT season. There's just so much PGT action. It's unbelievable. Remco talked about it earlier, that Super High Roller Bowl mixed $100,000 buy-in. 16 players are confirmed. Feels like a great base to start with and then go up from there. So, love seeing that. Largest mixed game tournament that I know of that's ever happened.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Time Traveler Poker says, hi everyone, awesome stream and commentary. Thank you so much for tuning in. Got Jamie Bluffett, the Mixed Hill Cool Drummer, with us. Ross the Boss. Still playing stud high, split 7s here for Milgrom. 7 buried here for Wong with the 10 up.
10 seconds.
And Milgrom is going to 3-bet his 7s with the ace. Nice starting hand, and Wong lets it go.
Yeah, I know you're facing a 10 for your opponent who completed, but you just got to take that spot there. Wong's also, you know, he's been a bit of a bully. I think it's fair to say that with the chip lead that he's had at this final table. So he's just going to be attacking at will.
You can see the buttons on the left-hand side of the dealer. That indicates how many hands have been played of the current game.
Still just regular old stud high. 7's in the hole now. 7's are hot for Milgrom. Wong picks up a 3, split 3s, got 2 clubs showing. Milgrom gets a deuce. Milgrom in a pretty good spot here overall. He's got 7s buried in the hole, so disguised. He is going to hit Wong with a raise right now. And it is a pretty deceptive hand for Milgrom. He did have to bring in, and Wong just called. So, you know, Milgrom didn't even have a chance to raise or put in any more aggressive actions on third, which can, again, make things a little bit more deceptive. Both players hit a 9 here. Milgrom is still best. Another bet from him.
These up cards showing are so similar. Sort of blocking each other's cards, which must make Milgrom feel better about his 7s.
Yeah, I would think so. And if you're Wong, I mean, it's hard to fold a pair. Like, 5 here for Wong, 10 for Milgrom. As you see, Milgrom's equity is now 70%. Still with 1 street to come, and he's going to bet the best hand. Wong calls once more. This pot is over 5 million.
Keep in mind, stud high, only 1 winner. Here comes 7th Street, face down. Oh, Milgrom catches a 5. He did not need to improve. The question now is, what did Wong get? Milgrom checks. Queen on the river for Wong here. He checks back. Sevens will take it here. Absolute monster pot going to the Frenchman. And Wong quietly mucking. This is the biggest blow to Wong's stack we've seen ever since he got a hold of 8 digits. Milgrom waving at the fans, glancing through the windows. If you ever want to come and check out the PokerGO Studio, you can do so. We are open for fans and spectators. You can hang out at the bar, watch the stream on the big screen, and on the breaks perhaps even get a glimpse of the pros, or perhaps have a chance to strike up a conversation or get your get an autograph if that's what you're into. Very laid-back atmosphere here at the PokerGO Studio. Ross says, got to take a nap before work, but I got to watch the end of this. He wants to have Wong win it soon. Well, that pot just now probably extended this heads-up battle by a little bit. It's Trenton says, the crazy world of heads-up play. All the money on a pair of sevens. Yeah, it is. It is kind of crazy how that hand developed and got so big.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we talk about it when we do the no limit hold'em stuff. Marginal hands just go up in value, or you know, all hands go up in value. Marginal becomes good. Good become great. Hands you think at a different juncture of the tournament just have showdown value might become value targets, right? Wow, look at this. Milgrom's got buried kings and Wong has split queens.
Oh boy.
And we saw a similar spot like this earlier where Milgrom completed Wong raised. I think he had a queen up, and Milgrom had split sevens and raised like this. You know, thinking, you know, Wong's just attacking. I just got to start driving my equity right now. Similar spot. This time, Wong actually has a hand. And he comes right back with a 3-bet.
Now, Wong's biggest disadvantage here is the fact that his pair is split and Milgrom's pair is buried.
Which allows Milgrom to do just this, play it a little bit slow. You know, if Milgrom does come in with a 4-bet over the top, it kind of turns his hand face up to an extent. I mean, Jerry Wong is obviously a very experienced player. He can be very good at hand reading. So Milgrom here just going to lay in the weeds a little bit, play this one a little bit slow, get deceptive.
Yeah, and also, both players catching a jack, both players thinking, well, that doesn't help my opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
Deuce for Wong. And a 7 for Milgrom. Now, of course, I know it's kings versus queens, but in stud high, out of nowhere, you can make 2 pair.
Yeah, of course.
Now, Wong doesn't have many live cards to make 2 pair because both players are also holding a jack and a 5. This information that Wong has will also make him feel more confident about his pair's queens being good.
Yeah, I think kings here like this is just too good. Also note Milgrom waiting till the big bet comes in to pop it up, right? If you're going to get value, if your opponent happens to have 2 queens, this is when you pounce. Don't need to pounce when the bet's still only 400K. Let's pounce when it's 800K.
Now, Wong must be thinking, I'm up against kings or aces. Given the way this hand played out, given the way that they both have each other's cards, it's very hard.
Yeah, listen, it's also not completely inconceivable that he's up against rolled up 5s. I know
but
it's
like
very
Wong
hard.
has a 5 also.
Yes, I know.
Oh, and now Milgrom catching a queen, which of course would have turned this thing around for Wong if that had been his card.
I mean, this pot is just enormous.
Enormous. 8.2 million in the middle. Wong looking for an escape here. Milgrom on his way to winning his second massive pot of heads-up play. And he catches an 8, so it's just a pair of kings for the Frenchman. I wonder if he's going to check this just as a protection versus those times that Wong ends up with 2 pair.
10 seconds.
Milgrom does decide to check, and now Wong's card has apparently not hit the reader yet. And he's going to do his own betting. Now, does he
Yeah.
have... Oh, he made trips! The last queen in the deck!
And look at Milgrom, he stands up. I mean, he's kind of sick right now. Like, really? Really?
Because Milgrom knows that his way of playing this hand signals so much strength. So Wong can only really bet with an improved hand here on the river.
Milgrom has a jack. He has a queen. He also has 2 hearts, right? You know, so it's like, okay, maybe my opponent got there with some sort of weird flush. Well, I have 2 hearts.
Oh, man.
I also have 2 spades. He's showing 2 spades. Like, this is just a horribly tough spot for Milgrom.
Brutal 7th Street.
I mean, how do you not call? How
Yeah,
can
he
you
does
fault
make the
him?
call with his pair of kings. And Wong is showing 3 queen. And look at the head shake. Milgrom had him all the way. But then 7th Street came in to save Jerry Wong. And he now 18 million to 1.9. What a brutal development on 7th Street. The last queen in the deck saves Jerry Wong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can do it.
Quick reminder here, you scan the QR code on your screen or go to pgt.com/gleam for a chance to win a seat in our PGT $1 Million Championship event happening at the end of this PGT season. Yes, you, watching at home, you have a chance. The chat goes wild. Disgusting river card.
Still shaking his head. I mean, understandably so. I'm shaking my head for him.
Right.
Really did play that hand well, did Milgrom. Of course, you know, a cooler as well, but just got sucked out on him. That's just absolutely never fun in poker. I don't care if you're playing stud, Razz, PLO, blind man's bluff, whatever the heck it is, it does not feel good to get unlucky.
By the way, if you're in the chat, please let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Appreciate you all hanging out here today. We got more action tomorrow, 10 game, or excuse me, 8 game, which includes, of course, no limit hold'em and triple draw. And single draw for those keeping score. Some conversation in the chat about Milgrom overplaying his kings. I think he played his kings perfectly.
What overplaying? He raised and bet when he had the best the whole time.
The whole time, yeah.
I mean, what's overplaying about that? And then he didn't have the best and he check called. What are you guys talking about? He strung Jerry Wong along. Jerry Wong thought he had the best hand till 5th. I mean, and then at that point he might have had a little bit of concern, yes, because he got raised. Milgrom puts in the bets when he's ahead. Check calls when he's behind in a pot that's $9 million. He's got to call 800K. I mean, sounds like an incredible spot to be in if you're Milgrom. He just got super unlucky.
No, what is the card?
Six
All
of
right,
diamonds.
6 of diamonds. Okay.
Playing stud 8 here. Barry pair of 10s for Wong, raising with the 6 up. Milgrom with a really strong ace 5-4, and he's going to try to get as much in the middle as possible right now. 3-betting to 1.2 million.
It lives in, right?
Wong made the call right away. Catches an 8 and a 3-4. Milgrom. He's got 4 to a wheel on 4th Street. Wong is going to get it in here. We're going to have an all-in showdown.
You're good.
Very good situation for Milgrom. Could scoop quite easily here. Does make a 7 low. So far, we're heading towards a chop. Pair of 10s for Wong. Still out in front for the high side.
Yep, scan. Yeah.
And here we
Just one
go.
pair.
Chop it up.
It's good.
No profits. All right, still heads up. Can Jerry Wong close this thing out? We'll find out soon, as the stakes are very high here as we are heads up in event 1 of the PGT Mixed Games. Quick reminder here that the road to the championship is well and truly underway. The top 40 players on the PGT leaderboard qualify for the $1 million season finale of PGT Championship. The starting stacks of that event are based on your leaderboard points, so you better start accumulating if you want a chance to play in that event. Also, for those at home watching, there's a chance for you to get in there. pgt.com/dream-seat.
Raise, complete.
Check.
Milgrom calls. Off to 5th we go. 3 for Wong, 7 for Milgrom.
All in.
And we got another all in here.
Yeah.
Milgrom raises all in. It's not that much more for
5,
Wong to
4,
call,
5.
and here we go.
All right, let's run it.
3, 5, 6.
2, 3, 5, 6 king.
Good chance this ends up in a chop again. And
He made a low. He made a low.
Straight and a straight.
And a straight.
Yeah. Let me scan.
7 low.
7 low. Good.
all right, chop it up, boys. Milgrom with the straight takes the high. Wong with the 7-6 low gets the low, and play will continue.
Okay.
Yes. 1. Yeah, 2.
1, 2, 5, 10.
Two, right?
Rob got me a room at for just to stay in, so I gave him 1% free roll.
Oh, yeah.
It's an expensive room.
Very expensive. Me, 2.
All right, action underway. Still playing stud 8. And Milgrom has
Raise.
3 to a low. from the start. He's going to try to get his money in again. Calls been made by Wong, who can easily afford this. And look at this. Wong makes kings. Milgrom makes aces. And we're going to get it all in again.
2 aces.
Kings versus aces. Very tough for Wong to make a low. He needs 3 in a row, and he's not going to make a low. So he's just holding on to his kings. Milgrom in a great spot for a full double up here.
No need to sweat it. Good.
Looks as though aces
Yeah, scan it.
will
Oh yeah, scan.
secure him the double up.
I think he makes aces and nines there on the river for anyone
So,
doing any accounting at home.
He's the down card is 9, right?
Yeah,
Last one.
yeah, last one. 7, 1.8, 1.87.
All right, so the first of many needed double ups from Milgrom here, up to 4 million. This battle is far from over, as you can see. Volatile nature of heads-up mixed games.
Got it. I got it.
Seeing some love in the chat on PokerGo for Nico. Nico Milgrom, that is. J330 and the checkup, both rooting for him.
It's 8 of hearts.
Seen some Jerry Wong fans tuned in as well. So we got a pretty nice even split here as Milgrom again with a terrific starting hand. And, you know, Wong for the high side, not looking too bad either, especially given that we're heads up.
10 seconds.
Raise.
We're playing a string of massive pots here in stud 8.
We made it to the million big bet. That's all I care about.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I'm done.
6 for Wong.
Check.
Milgrom catches a king.
Bet.
Instant bet here from Wong.
Call.
A bet and a call. Ace of diamonds for Wong, who fires immediately again.
Bet is 1 million.
And Milgrom now
1 million.
with the king high flush draw as well as an 8-4 low draw. Wong representing the low, but has a pair of 9s buried.
Ace, 6, ace.
Rainbow.
Raise.
And Milgrom
All right.
raises
Call.
to be almost all in.
A
Wong
low draw
pulls
and
the
a
trigger,
flush draw.
and we're going to see another all in. 7.9 million. Starting to get serious now for Wong, but he can close this out.
It's a good card.
King for Wong, ace for Milgrom, and Milgrom now makes the low.
That's it.
So he's got that part of the pot locked up.
9s are good.
9s are good. We'll chop it up.
Then we sit there. Yeah.
It's good.
Good.
Damn.
Well, they're trying to end it.
they're definitely trying, yeah. Can't fault them for the way they're playing this. right, back to 4-3 we go. Wong brought it in. Milgrom completed. Wong made the call.
Here, 9.
9 showing for Wong.
Bet.
Leads him to bet. Nothing too promising here for Milgrom.
10 seconds.
Decides to let it go.
Next one.
Hold on.
Center.
Raise.
10 seconds. Check. Bet.
Raise.
Raise to bet.
Here we go. Quick raise from Jerry Wong.
Yeah.
Apologies for the little graphics delay here as we
Raise.
get this up to speed. Milgrom fights right back with a re-raise.
Call.
Milgrom with the best of it on the ace-5-4 rainbow. Top pair for him. Also that gutter to a wheel. Wong's working with second pair here. Turn card is the king of diamonds. Wong puts Milgrom all in. Milgrom
10 seconds.
calls. I think he has less than what the graphic says. He's going to be all in, though. He's got the best of it with top pair. Wong, second pair, or third pair now. If he hits, it's over. If not, we fight on.
Yeah, 11% for Wong to end it right here on the spot. Milgrom in a terrific position to double up yet again. Awaiting the river card as we await Milgrom's fate, and it's a 10 of hearts on the river. The French pro will sit down once again, and is this his
Can I
fourth?
go to the bathroom
Double
real
up?
quick?
Feels like it.
Like very fast.
Yeah. We'll both go.
Go? Okay, all right. I have to go bad.
Players are taking a short bathroom break, but we are not going on break at all. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Event 1 of the 7-event PGT Mixed Games series. Now, if you want to play in our studio, why not try to win a satellite? We have satellites running for the PGT PLO series and the USPO. Both are 560 buy-in. One happening on March 24th, one happening on April 7th. Check out pgt.com/schedule for more, and we might see you here inside the studio.
The last 560 buy-in satellite that we had for PokerGO Cup, 177 entries.
That is insane.
Gave away 14 seats, I believe it was. So
That is so insane.
that's, you want to come play on the PGT. I mean, that's the way to go.
Little update here from event number 2, the 5K 8 game, up to 112 entries right now. Players are still lined up at the door to get into that event. Scott Seaver among the early big stacks in that event.
Mike Leah, first break chip leader. Got that 1K bonus. I expect nothing less out of Mike Leah. Just run it right up to the chip lead. Looks like the players also shifted spots a little bit here. Probably going to be a little bit easier to see.
Wong still with a comfortable chip lead, but playing 500K, 1 million. Surely swings this thing around really quickly.
Race.
Wow, back to back. Back to back.
Jimmy Bluffett pointing out, mixed games are fast-paced. That's why I like them, honestly. Honestly, that's true. It is really fun how fast these games are. We have played 72 hands already, and we are only about 2 hours and 40 minutes into this stream. Hold'em can definitely be a very slow grind, while the decision-making in these games are pretty fast.
Much better.
Playing limit hold'em, so that portion of the game always gets done quickly. King 7 for Wong, easy raise.
Queen Jack 5 here, top pair for Milgrom. He's in a good spot. Wong gonna continue after being the pre-flop raiser. Check raise right away from Milgrom. Quick fold out of Jerry.
Milgrom with 315,000 in career tournament earnings. Of course, doesn't match up in that department to Jerry Wong, who's had a wide variety of enormous scores. But Milgrom does have a lengthy, successful career in the game of poker. Just this past summer, he finished 20th in the 10K H.O.R.S.E. His best shot yet at a WSOP bracelet. Perhaps a player, Donnie, that's being considered for 25K fantasy if that happens again.
Yeah, I think he's been drafted a bit. I mean, Wong is always out there battling, especially in the big mixed game stuff, and then anything that comes along from no limit hold'em, bonus of course.
Check, check to the turn we go. Queen of diamonds, both players
Check.
with 10 high, but Milgrom with the flush draw does have some options here. And he takes it down with a bet. New game, Omaha 8 or better. King 9-8 deuce for Wong. Emergency low here with the 8 deuce. Decides to let it go.
Did that thing.
Once again, you can follow live reporting of event number 2 on PGT.com. Chip counts have just been updated. Mike Leah on top with 665,000. That is already a very healthy looking stack in the early goings. Ace Queen A3 from Milgrom. Raisable hand here on the button.
Please. 10 seconds. Call.
10-9-6-4 double suited. Wong's going to come along and make the call. Queen 9-3 with diamonds. Milgrom picks up not only 2 pair, but also the diamond draw. And the diamond comes in on the turn, giving Wong 9s and 6s. So Milgrom here with an opportunity to pick up some serious chips. Doesn't hurt that he has an escape as well for the low.
Call.
Wong comes along, makes the call. River is the 9 of clubs, and Wong makes his full house. No low comes in for Milgrom. So the 10% chance becomes 100 for Jerry Wong.
Full house.
And Wong sees his opponent check back, announces full house, and you could hear the sigh from Milgrom just when he thought he was closing in on evening this match. He gets knocked down again. Milgrom is just mulling it over.
He'd be an amazing player if we only played up to the turn.
Subtle needle there from Jerry Wong.
Man.
Call. Option. Check.
Yep.
Lots of sympathy in the chat for Milgrom, who's been getting rivered a fair bit here.
Check. 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 Check.
Wong maintaining that comfortable chip lead, 15 million to 4 million. Just 4 big bets for Milgrom. He's going to need to catch some heat over the course of the next few games, if he makes it that far. Ace King 10-3. Going to see Milgrom raise it up again. Queen, Queen, Jack 10. It's going high for Wong here. Ace 8-4. Bad looking flop for Jerry Wong. And that ends it right away. In case you haven't seen it or subscribed to PokerGO, please know that new episodes of High Stakes Poker Season 14 are releasing every Monday. And the most recent episode, Donnie, stirred the pot quite a bit.
That hand between Alan Keating and the man known as Peter was simply tremendous.
Yes.
I mean, people were throwing around greatest hand I've ever seen, hand of the year for 2025, even though February's not over. None of that is an exaggeration with how outrageous this hand was. It resulted in a $911,000 pot, which is one of the largest pots of all time. The way that it played out was simply ridiculous. And you guys can find that on the PokerGO YouTube channel. It's on our X account on social media. I mean, just ridiculous. I saw it when it happened, and I watched it, and I was like, what? What did I just watch?
The fact that the pot size was 911, someone better call an ambulance, because that was just absolutely insane from Keating. As we have some action here, Wong limped in, Milgrom checked. Milgrom check called 500K, checks now again on the turn. And Wong is going to keep on firing. After flopping a straight, Milgrom with a flush draw. He's just going to come along and make the call. No low possible just yet. It's going to need 3 cards on board, 8 or lower. And now the ace of spades on the river is going to result in a chop here, as Milgrom uses 4 deuce to make his low. Wong with the high, with his 9 high straight.
Raise.
And Wong is going to raise it up.
Call.
Milgrom's going to call, and they're going to chop it up. This game can be rather anticlimactic when it comes down to it.
Mhm.
Two hands, okay.
Milgrom limps in. Wong happily takes a flop with his all over the place type hand. Does flop kings and deuces. This heads-up match going on way longer than I expected.
I mean, especially after the early, what, 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes, where it was just several all-ins, lots and lots of big pots, but it definitely has cooled down a little bit. Probably understandably so, given that we're now in the split pot game here. But that'll change soon.
Yeah, Wong with the monster here. Aces, double suited.
10 seconds.
No action. Yeah, next up will be Razz. It's a one-winner game. There's lots of streets of betting.
Are we up this hand? 200.
200?
Yep.
Oh, 150.
150 to 612.
First game of Razz.
Razzle dazzle. This could create some big pots. They will not get chopped.
Seven of clubs. Wait.
Two very interesting Razz hands, other than the fact that Wong is paired, but still the 5 will look promising.
Raise.
Raise. Call.
Oh, 1.2.
1.2.
Eight for Wong,
Hands.
king for Milgrom.
Bet.
Wong bets 600K. Milgrom knows that he's got a draw to a 7 available to him.
Call.
He's going to make the call, and this could be for all of it if Milgrom catches anything remotely close to improving his hand.
Queen of diamonds.
And it is the 10 of clubs. This card heavily favoring Milgrom, but he's still staring at that king. And from Milgrom's perspective, Wong is drawing to an 8-5.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
You can see Milgrom just crunching the numbers in his head.
Raise.
Raise. 2.4.
Oh, look at
Look at
this.
that. He's just going to go for it.
And Wong is going to come along.
I think I'm on.
Cards will be turned on their backs. And Milgrom in a terrific
I think,
spot to
yeah,
double up.
less. Yeah.
Yeah, he's all in for less.
Impressive read here by Milgrom. But he's not out of the woods yet. 65 to 35%. $10-7 draw for Milgrom.
He knows how to do it, by the way. Always standing up when he's
Oh, yeah.
all in.
Yeah.
He knows. This is why he hasn't got home yet.
He needs to get a backpack. Oh, there is. He does have a backpack.
He needs to put it on.
And Wong makes 2 pair. And Milgrom also pairs up, so still not out of the woods yet because Milgrom is left with the king. Wong catches a 9, and there it is. The deuce for Milgrom. That's going to give him the double up, and this is as close as we've been. 11 million to 8.4 million.
2.25.
Back from the dead a bit is Nicholas Milgrom here.
2,250,000, correct.
Oh, the Milgrom fans.
There's a fair amount of them
Yeah,
out there in the chat. You know, they're
Definitely.
cheering on their guy.
When the limits get this high, it sometimes feels like straight gambling. You just find 3 good cards and you just go with it.
Complete.
Keep in mind that these players have not even mentioned the word chop. So we are playing heads up for basically $60,000. That is 30 buy-ins for this event. And Wong now with a nice deuce 7-3. Milgrom with a 6 up.
10 seconds.
He's not going to be too unhappy about this. 7 of spades,
6 of spades
for Wong and a 3 of spades for Milgrom. So both players improving their hand. Excuse me, Wong pairing a 7. Missed that.
Yep.
So Milgrom
Cool.
looking a whole lot better here. Wong's board does look quite good. 8 of hearts,
8 of hearts.
on 5th. That'll
Looks
be
better now.
That'll be in favor of Wong.
Yeah.
Especially with Milgrom catching that king. $1.2 million to see 6th Street.
Milgrom says no, thank you. And we're back to pretty much where we started. About 2-1, give or take, in favor of Jerry Wong. Milgrom has been all in a couple times during this heads-up match. He also had it within 3 million at one point, not too long ago, so it's swingy, and understandably so with the big bet now at 1.2 million.
Cool.
Great starting hand here for Milgrom. Completes to 600 with 3 up, 4 deuce in the hole. Wong comes along.
Queens are new.
Pairs his queen. Just folds, even though his opponent picked up a king. He just says, no, I'm not even gonna bother with this one. Not putting in any more money.
Queen of diamonds. Complete. Cool. Four spades. Okay.
Milgrom betting 600K here as we play the small bet on 4th before it doubles on 5th Street.
8 of spades.
Some more non-Razz cards for Wong here
Bet.
as he catches a king. And that's enough to take it down. And stacks now very close, all but a bet apart. Donnie, do you feel like things are swinging in Milgrom's favor right here?
Yeah, I mean, on the whole, you know, I think he's done well. Wong has had a few opportunities to close it out, and it hasn't worked out in his favor. And even though Milgrom's been on the pretty brutal end of some bad runouts, he's right there now, which I think gives him, you know, a little bit more confidence. Dare I say it, maybe some momentum. Whereas if you're Wong, you're like, I mean, I just can't get rid of this guy. You know, like no matter what kind of happens, he's still right there. So, not that I think Wong is a type of player who's going to waver at any point. You know, I think he's just too much of a veteran for that. You know, but you know, everyone's human, and at some point, it probably does creep into your mind a little bit. Like, really, can I just finish this guy off already? Let's get on to the next event.
Yeah, these players for sure jumping into the next event. Because, of course, there's also the honor of being the Mixed Games champ at stake.
9 of diamonds.
Split 9s here for Wong, still playing Razz. Split 8s for Grom. And he takes it down.
Did you win every hand that round?
I think so. I was just thinking that too.
Wow.
And I think I was to bring in every single hand as well.
7 in a row for Milgrom. And now the game switches to 7-card stud. We're staying with the one-winner games.
Four spades bring in.
4 is to bring in. And kings buried for Milgrom. And 5, 6, 7 for Wong. Just going to make the call. Now, if Wong improves to a 4-card straight,
Queen of diamonds.
could see this pot
Yeah.
get bigger. Wong is going to bet his queen, as you do, in stud high. And now Milgrom thinking, do I raise now or do I raise on 5th? And it looks like he's going to raise on 5th when the bets get more expensive.
Yeah, setting up is a kind of similar spot to the last time he had buried kings, although this time his opponent doesn't have queens. But still, things are going to get interesting now with that 4.
Yeah, especially with that 4 giving Wong the open-ended straight draw he's been looking for. Milgrom now facing an inconspicuous queen 6-4 board.
Raise.
Raise.
And he is going to come with a raise, as predicted.
2.4.
Now
Raise.
Wong, of
Three
course.
raise.
Oh, wow.
3.6.
Wong comes back over the top with the straight draw. This pot,
I mean, this could be for all of
yes,
it, right?
could be tournament defining. Jerry Wong makes it 3.6.
Raise.
Raise.
And
4.8.
Milgrom comes back over the top again. We have all-out warfare on 5th Street. And Jerry Wong makes the call. 11.5 million in the pot with 2 cards to come still. Bets-wise and pot odds-wise, it's hard to imagine this not going to showdown. Deuce of clubs on 6th.
Check.
Wong checks. Milgrom picks up an inside straight draw,
Bet.
and he's going to fire right away.
And now he has a fairly scary board. And remember, this was just bring in and call on 3rd. So, you know, Milgrom could easily have a 3 here.
Wow, 14 million up for grabs. 7th Street dealt face down. Milgrom ends up with 2 pair. Is Wong again going to get saved by the river like the queen he hit before? He is going to check again. Milgrom considering his next action. with an
Bet.
enormous
Bet.
amount of chips in the middle. And he's going to bet. And it looks like Wong indeed missed his draw. And in an epic turn of events,
Hey, rescan those cards.
Nico Milgrom up to 15 million chips.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
If you've been watching this entire final table, you know that Jerry Wong has been in charge the entire time. And oh my God, look at the size of that. It's like you hit the number at roulette, and they have to push you all those chips.
This is like the 4-8 mixed game we used to play.
Oh, wow.
Just piles and piles of chips. Talk about a swing of fortunes here.
And Jerry Wong on the ropes. Does have a stack of yellow chips there on the right, but 3 million chips at these limits.
Which hand of stud was that? We know which hand of stud it was?
This is the second hand.
Second, that's what I thought, yeah.
Still playing stud high.
Man, what a hand. What a hand. Now it's going to be Jerry Wong's turn to try and mount a big comeback. We did see Milgrom do it. Now can Wong do it? Man, look at all those yellow 100K. So many chips. So many chips.
Feels like Wong was in this exact position not too long ago. Now he the one on the ropes. 60K heads up battle. Wong's gonna be feeling this one if he's not able to find a comeback here. 10 up for both players here, still playing stud high. And Wong has 9s buried. Nothing from Milgrom though.
Queen of hearts.
Wong lets it go.
Sure.
All right, still heads up, but Jerry Wong is on the ropes. Quick reminder here to play the fun and free online game that we offer over at playpokergo.com, available on web, iOS, and Android. Go sign up right now and play for free. Get into the fast-paced action of Play Poker Go.
Complete.
Oh, look at this. 10s versus 9s. We're playing stud high, and Jerry Wong will potentially end up all in here, as he doesn't have a whole lot of room to play with 1.5 million left going to 4th Street. An 8 for Wong, a 5 for Milgrom. Wong checks.
Raise.
And here we go. Milgrom bets. Wong comes with the check raise.
I've got 1.525.
1.525 total.
It's going to get it in here.
Yeah.
All in.
Nice.
So Milgrom is going to ensure that we get an all-in showdown here. And it is basically a coin flip, as we have 3 cards to come for both players. But Nico Milgrom from France on the cusp right now of winning Event 1 of the 2025 PGT Mixed Game Series, 8 improves Wong, but look at that, the dagger as Milgrom makes trips.
Good game.
Wong is now gonna need some serious help, but it's not gonna come on 7th Street. And Jerry Wong, after dominating the entire final table, busts out in 2nd place, collecting $97,000 for his efforts. But the champion is Nicholas Milgrom, who records the largest cash of his live poker career by 3xing it. He takes home the first prize of $159,250, and we will see him again in event number 2, which is streaming tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's event number 2, a 5K 8-game, which has an absolutely massive field, and you can follow the live reporting over on PGT.com right now. They are up to 125 players that will continue to build as we see Milgrom hoist the trophy in the background. So once again, tomorrow's live coverage, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. My name is John Karinka, Donnie Peters alongside me. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for the Event 2 final table.